It all began in 1892. The equipment may look different and the names change, but the rivalry remains the same. From its roots at Piedmont Park in Atlanta to Athens and Auburn, legendary coaches, college football's greatest players, magical moments etched in history, unleashing the emotions of the Deep South's oldest rivalry. It's Go Dogs. It's War Eagle. It's Georgia and Auburn for the 124th time. And with that, the Home Depot SEC on CBS brings us to Pat Dye Field, Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama, where the Tigers, ranked 12th, host the 4th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Beautiful day, packed house in mid-November for a crucial game in the SEC. As you look at the SEC East, Florida kept their East hopes alive in the game you just saw. Georgia, with a win today, can punch their ticket to Atlanta to the SEC title game should they win. In the West, it's LSU's to lose. Alabama won a game and lost a quarterback. But boy, can Auburn make some noise about the college football playoff picture if they win today and continue to roll as they did a couple of years ago. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler with Gary Danielson. Jamie O'Donnell will join us shortly. Kind of that same feel, partner, from 2 years ago, a little bit.
I think the same, and it's not just Auburn in this game trying to spoil Georgia or Alabama in a couple weeks. It's the fact that they believe if they win, they can still get in the playoffs.
Well, you know, if you want 1,100 yards of offense and 87 points like we had last week with LSU and Alabama, you probably don't want to watch this.
It could literally be a game you wouldn't even have to watch the football and have a lot of fun watching this football game. Two of the best interior lines for Georgia. They're built right across that front. Andrew Thomas, Solomon Kinley, Trey Hill, Cade Mays, Isaiah Wilson. They are huge, the backbone of that Georgia football team. But this defensive line and the two stars, number 5, Derek Brown, number 3, Marlon Davidson, that is where the game will be won.
So close, these two old rivals, 59, 56, and 8. Georgia with a 3-game lead. It was horrible weather-wise Thursday and Friday in Auburn. Today, picture perfect. Georgia won the toss and deferred. So the Auburn Tigers will get the football first in front of their sellout crowd. Rodrigo Blankenship's got it teed up for the Dogs. And we're underway in the Plains. And Auburn will go to work at the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And it all starts with a quarterback. And for the first time in what seems like forever, Georgia is facing a starting quarterback. And he's the true freshman, Bo Nix. And he is sensational at home. Not so good on the road. We saw the 2 losses they had. The noise got to him, at Florida especially. But he's a very cool customer for his age. DJ Williams will start in the backfield. At tailback with Nix. And a quick throw out in the flat to Eli Stove. And Stove with a quick 14-yard pickup.
2 years ago in this game, Eli Stove had a big game on the ground, 4 carries for 55 yards. That was just like a rushing play.
And they go with a tempo immediately. And now it is DJ Williams. Got about 4 before the Georgia defense can knock him down. As we set the Auburn offense for you. A guy that we expect to have a say in this, J.J. Wilson, kind of a tight end H-back. Going to play more of a wide receiver role today for Gus Malzahn's offense.
And he's in the game now.
Second down and 6 as Auburn quickly moves to its own 44-yard line. Empty backfield and Nix out of the gun. Wide receiver screen in and out of the hands of Eli Stove against a Georgia defense.
Got to set your feet, Bo. You got to set your feet. That's an easy throw.
Here's the defensive lineup for Georgia on your screen. Across the front, the linebacking core. Aziz Ojulari is the guy that leads Georgia in sacks. And the back end, 2 great safeties in J.R. Reed and Richard LeCount. So So our first third down of the day.
Interesting, though, the reputation of the hurry-up kept Georgia from putting in their fast nickel defense.
On 3rd and 6, Nix, the quick slant, and it's a first down.
That's it. That's what he has to do. Set your feet, let it go. You go watch Bo Nix in practice, you go, what does this guy not have?
Yeah.
We watched him struggle in his 2 games, but as Gus kept telling us, you've seen him at his worst. You'll see a different guy today.
Into Georgia territory already with a first down throw at the 49. That was Wilson in motion. Nix to throw on first down. He's going to run with it. And slides forward to about the 42. So good opening drive here, the first minute and a half.
I've always wondered about Gus's offense without a running quarterback. Talked to him about it. He says, I have to be careful with him, though. We lost our backup quarterback, Joey Gatewood. We do not have much behind him.
They don't, indeed. Cord Sandberg would be their number 2 quarterback. Again, the slant, again complete. First down, Seth Williams.
So the Georgia defense that has handled so many teams with such great stats, the questions has been, from us that have watched the game tapes and practically everybody else, are they that good, or have they not played anyone that can test them at quarterback? You could make an argument that the 2 quarterbacks they faced all year that have given them a game, Kyle Trask and Ian Book, and they didn't have much help on the ground in those games.
And Trask was considered the number 2 guy at the time after Felipe Frank's injury. Here's a run all the way on the Wildcat. DJ Williams.
DJ Williams carries on the direction out.
This is really the story of the year for Georgia this year. They have just played true freshman quarterback, backup quarterbacks, wide receiver quarterbacks, first start quarterbacks, and Tyler Powell. They really haven't played the guy since really Notre Dame that had a scheduled quarterback.
Nix calmly throws and tried to get it to Wilson.
See, that's the question I have. Wilson, his first game at wide receiver. He's basically been playing H-back. He's taken Sal Canella's spot in that slot position, but you can see the timing right there was really off.
He goes out now to the top of your screen.
And now let's see the Georgia defense if they can put pressure. 23 sacks Auburn's given up this year.
Auburn got their last third down pickup. This one's 3rd down and 10. Nix wanted to throw the slant, now scrambles to try to find a receiver. Found one short of the first down is Seth Williams by about 3 yards.
I think they're going to go for it here, though. Let's just see if they get a quick snap for Auburn, because they have Georgia substituting, but they don't, even at a near hash.
And now Auburn changes its personnel. Georgia again with some massive changes coming from the sideline. 4th down and 3.
Once Auburn substituted, though, the official allowed Georgia to substitute.
Georgia thinking about a blitz. And now all kinds of...
First charge time out of the half, Georgia.
Everybody a little confused there. Trying to match wits. We get a timeout. Stream CBS Sports HQ, the free 24/7 news network for coverage is always focused on the game. Get nonstop highlights, fantasy advice, and picks. Download the CBS Sports app to watch today. Gary will be on with the guys, HQ, at the conclusion of our game.
I wonder,
here in the first quarter.
Excuse me, Brad. I wonder if Gus will have second thoughts here. You know, now that it's 4th and 3 or 4, no element of surprise. You know, 2 40-yard field goals they kicked last week. This is within range.
It is. 48 is his long this year, Anders Carlson. This one's going to be from about 47.
Yeah, when everything was mumble-jumble, that's kind of their offense, keeping Georgia off balance with the speed and tempo. But now he said, second look here, let's go field goal attempt.
Number 25.
So on the 10th play of the drive, Anders Carlson from 47. And it is wide right. Georgia still hasn't allowed an opening possession score. Georgia will take over after the missed field goal.
Interesting, I was out there at practice Thursday and noticed that they line up their kicker 8 yards back, and I asked Carlson why, and he said penetration up the middle, and they got penetration up the middle. Instead of, normally a team will go 7, they go 8 for that extra yard of distance. Might have got blocked though.
So Georgia takes over, first down. Jake Fromm, DeAndre Swift in the Dogs' backfield from the 29. And it is DeAndre Swift, and he only got about one. KJ Britt, a middle linebacker, in on the stops. We take a look at the Chick-fil-A starting lineups, and it starts with number 11. 2-1 record against Auburn. You're saying, wait a minute, he's a junior. How'd he play that many games? They played 2 within a month. The SEC championship game a couple of years ago after the regular season loss here. Here's the rest of the offense for the Dogs, and Andrew Thomas and Isaiah Wilson. The 2 big tackles will have their hands full today with Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson and Big Cat Bryant and that group up front for Auburn. 2nd and 9. And it's Swift trying to get to the corner. Run out of bounds after a short gain. It'll bring up 3rd down against the Auburn defense. That looks like this, and a guy has already made a tackle. He makes a lot of them behind that big front wall. KJ Britt, little linebacker. Georgia 47% on their 3rd downs.
And this is where Kevin Steele, coordinator for Auburn, brings in his 6 defensive backs. He used 7 of them against LSU, but Georgia only deserves 6. They're passing back.
We expect Georgia's first pass to the ball game from Jake Fromm. Has time, plenty of it, and had to come back to his check down, and it's DeAndre Swift who lost about 3.
That's the game plan. Auburn uses a 3-man line. They get a 4th rusher when they bring Papo, number 10, a linebacker type, to get their 4th player coming in. But man-to-man, they're going to play man-to-man all day against the receivers from Georgia.
So the first punt from Jake Camarda with Christian Tutt waiting back on the other end.
Beauty.
Tutt looks up in the sun and lets it sail. It bounces inside the 10. Can Georgia get to it? Yes, they can. At about the 2-yard line.
Didn't even need to get to it. It stopped right there.
The long snapper got down there to down it after a 67-yard punt from Jake Camarda. The Bulldogs have Auburn buried near their own goal line for their 2nd offensive set when we come back.
Scoreless at Auburn. We sat down with Bo Nix this week in preparation of this game, and I found myself reminding several times this young man is just 19 years old, but he has a personality that's wise beyond his years. He's also the son of a former Auburn quarterback, and even though it's his destiny to play here, that doesn't negate the fact that he is a freshman quarterback navigating Auburn through an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. And Nix has taken his lumps away from Jordan Hare. He's been unable to eclipse 180 passing yards against top 10 teams so far, and those games were all on the road. But he's found a comfort and a rhythm here that is unmatched, and it couldn't come at a better time, guys.
He's going to need it from the 2-yard line, Jamie. In his own end zone to throw. The slant is complete, and just like that to Seth Williams, who's got him out of trouble.
How about that? True freshman quarterback, but it's not the same one you saw, or we saw, games ago. Now he's a veteran. In fact, Gus told us yesterday he didn't even count him as a true freshman anymore.
Here he is on the ground, a sidearm throw. It might have been a lateral. Let's see, it's just incomplete. And they're taking a look at that, I think.
That's the famous Nick Marshall touchdown pass against Alabama years ago that changed football almost. Late. Doesn't matter how many linemen are downfield. They're actually way down for Harrell. Is almost 5 yards downfield on that play.
They just call it incomplete, 2nd down and 10. From the 13. Play action quick. Wide receiver screen. Only about a 2-yard gain for Eli Stove. And it brings up 3rd and long. Devontae Wyatt had that sniffed out along with Ojulari.
Didn't notice that Tyson Campbell suffering all year with that turf toe is in the game, starting for DJ Daniel. Daniel's been the starter lately. Now then the nickel set, but that means Stokes and Campbell are the two corners, starting corners.
Will Hastings in motion across the field. Georgia jumps and gets back.
I'm surprised that Auburn didn't move there. They could have got an easy 5 yards by just reacting to that play where the offensive line.
Yeah, I would imagine Jack Driscoll would have dropped, but instead the throw on a crossing route, and this one is going nowhere, courtesy of Richard LeCount, who tackled him twice. Actually didn't get him down the first time. Fourth down.
Well, I think it was a good decision by Gus Malzahn. A very safe 3rd and long down call here. You don't want to put your quarterback. Get first down throw is something different. But on 3rd and long against his defense that rushes well, 5 or 6 defensive backs on the field, I think that's a good call on 3rd and long.
Georgia should get good field position out of this. Aaron Sipoff's punt. Dominique Blaylock standing back around midfield. Has to backpedal back to the 39. Nifty catch, actually, just to get that one, and he's run out of bounds immediately. Still good field position for Georgia on their second offensive possession. Midway through the first quarter, no score here at Auburn.
Want to stay up to date? Hey Siri, show me college football rankings.
Adam Zucker, New York, with his Papa John's update. Number 3, Clemson also trying to stay top 4 with the Dogs, and Travis Etienne going right through the Wake Forest defense to make it 14-0 against the team that fell out of the rankings and lost their star player, Sage Surratt. That's the score right now. Ness and Gary, back to you.
All right, Zuck, thanks. No score here with 7:18 remaining in the first quarter. Georgia back on offense. Kind of flipped the field a little bit, that 67-yard punt, and then Auburn having to punt back. Kirby Smart this week has preached composure to his team. He felt like a couple of years ago here before the SEC title game, in the regular season game, that they were a little too emotional.
Yeah, but with this field position, let's see how aggressive they will be here. You know, they only rushed 2 years ago in this game for 46 yards. I wonder if they'll let Jake Fromm throw it around a little bit more.
Either Jake's going to run it or James Cook's going to join him in the backfield. On first down, it will be the quick throw and a completion out to the 45 to Lawrence Cager, his favorite target. And we look back to 2 years ago. Here's what we're talking about. Penalties like late hits. And that one on after a punt. Sony Michel guilty of that. They fumbled the ball away. They muffed punts. Just all part of not being focused and being composed.
Yeah, I thought they were too fired up for the game.
I think so, yeah.
Came in number 1, you know, and need to control their emotions is what he told us on the phone last night. Hope that his team learned a lesson in that trip here 2 years ago.
Brian Herring in the backfield for Georgia on a 2nd down and 4, gets the call and gets the first down. I've said this before, but you get so wrapped up in DeAndre Swift and company, you forget how really good Brian Herring is.
Yeah, and you know, these 2nd and short is something you feel good about trying to make, but I tell you, 2 years, just the difference in home fields. Last year, Georgia rushed for 303 yards.
Yep.
2 years ago here, they rushed for 46. And by the way, they had Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, and DeAndre Swift for 46 yards.
Yeah. Elijah Holyfield was just standing on the sideline.
Yes.
On first down, Fromm gonna go deep. Got a man out there and got him. Dominique Blaylock, touchdown. On the score.
How aggressive would they allow Jake to be? Well, we've got our answer. Again, here's Blaylock. Here's the coverage right there. Playing off outside technique, poor technique. No safety in the middle of the field. He just runs right by Tut. And inside those big guys we talked about, can they hold it and give them time? Look at that. 3 or 4 yards of space to stop up and throw the ball.
Rodrigo Blankenship's 187th consecutive extra point is good. And Georgia strikes in a hurry. 61 yards in 3 plays. The big one, Jake Fromm's 14th touchdown pass of the year to Dominique Blaylock, and it's 7-0 Dogs. Tomorrow, it's an NFL on CBS doubleheader, beginning with two of the game's most exciting quarterbacks. Jackson and the Ravens welcome Watson and the Texans, and it's Patriots on the road against the Eagles. It all starts with JB and the guys on the NFL Today at noon Eastern, right here on CBS. Jake Fromm moving up the charts. Got a way to go. Nobody's going to catch Aaron Murray, I don't think, our comrade here at CBS. But Jake now with 68 touchdown passes, just past Eric Zier, who's over in the Georgia radio booth on the all-time list. And it was a pretty one.
Even if he came back another year, you'd have to have a Heisman plus year to catch Aaron Murray.
That's right. And for Dominique Blaylock, his fourth receiving touchdown of the year.
I noticed that Derek Brown, as we look at this kickoff, went up to the official afterwards saying he was held. Take one more look at that pass protection after this kickoff. Trey Hill, who was injured a week ago, is at center. He's matched up here against Brown. Watch this. Good job by Trey Hill. He's got him. Little help from Kinley if he needs it, but he doesn't. But watch him toss him down at the end. But you know what? Derek Brown didn't know the ball was already gone by the time he threw him down. That's an excellent job by Trey Hill.
You know, kid, he's dealing with a real man right
yes,
there.
Yes, he was.
Bo Nix, 7 out of 10 so far. Cam Martin with him in the backfield right now. First down for the Tigers from their own 25.
Unbalanced line. This player is not eligible. He's covered up.
Cam Martin gets the call for a tough 2 on the inside.
Just to go over that rule for you, he's covered up. He's allowed to go downfield on a running play, but not a pass play. He'd be ineligible.
So Martin's in for one play and back out, and Boobie Whitlow, who's had some injury issues, but he's back in there healthy and not wearing a knee brace right now in the Auburn backfield on 2nd and 7. They give it to Boobie now and end around to Schwartz. Doesn't matter if you got all that speed if you get bottled up like that, and Georgia had that one sniffed out.
I'll tell you, Nolan Smith, there's a thing called setting the edge. Okay, watch what Smith does here. You want to know what setting the edge means? Back in the old days, don't let him run around you is what setting the edge is, and that's what Nolan Smith did, the true freshman future superstar for Georgia.
And with him setting the edge, Malik Herring is the guy that cleaned up to make the tackle and force a 3rd and 15 back at the 20. Quick throw out in the flat to Whitlow. He slips a little bit. Got back across the original line of scrimmage, and that's it. 4th down and punting situation for the Tigers.
I tell you, Richard LeCount comes up and blows up this play before it can get started. Watch LeCount, the safety. Once he reads it, it's a screen. He hits it. 4.4, 4.3 speed, and that allows the pursuit to come in and make the tackle.
They got a couple good ones back there in LeCount and J.R. Reed.
They're very aggressive, and you might want to get deep on them, but that's easier said than done.
Zip-ons to punt. Dominique Blaylock back around the Georgia 30, the guy that caught the touchdown pass a couple of minutes ago. And he'll fair catch this one right around the 25-yard line. Spend an hour on the edge of your seat. I'm not talking about SEC football. I'm talking about a new evil this Thursday at 10, 9 Central on CBS. Brad Nussler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Erdahl, and our CBS crew at Pat Dye Field, Jordan-Hare Stadium on a brilliant mid-November day. And a crucial game here in the SEC with Georgia in front by a touchdown with just under 4 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, pretty good ratio they got going. The important ratio is 6 plays, 7 points. And they've been balanced. 3 passes and 3 runs.
There's what Gary's talking about. DeAndre Swift back in at tailback for Georgia from the 26. Charlie Warner, the tight end, in motion. Everybody in tight. Going to be an end around though to Demetrius Robertson. Got a block. Got out to the 30 before he stood up. By Jeremiah Denson, one of the safeties, 2 very good safeties for Auburn, I should say as well.
Christian Tutt did the same thing last play. He's right there at outside linebacker. Watch him turn it in, help inside, safety makes the tackle. Sometimes you have to do your assignment. You want to go for that player bad, but you're better off turning it into where you know the help is.
James Cook in the lineup for Georgia. And a 2 tight end set. A little different looking formation for the Bulldogs here. They look a little confused, to be honest with you. 2nd down and 6. Just got the snap off. DeAndre Swift got a 1st down. Out across the 35 to the 37.
I'll tell you, Derek Brown that time, he's still mad. He thinks he got held. Watch him on this play. Split it, get thrown back. But that crease, again, when we talked to Kevin Steele, I said, what's the most important thing? Penetration? He goes, no, gap. Play your gap. See, right there, Brown was in the backfield. He opened up a gap. You have to be sound in your gap technique and not get in there and want to make those plays, tackle for a loss every time.
Georgia with a 1st down at the 37-yard line. Play fake to Herring. Fromm sets up, going to go deep again. Just overshot Lawrence Cager. Pretty good coverage by Javaris Davis back there.
I don't want to say Lawrence Cager is a possession receiver because that's not fair, but he's not a speedster. He's more of a route runner. He's a great back shoulder catcher of the ball, but he's not going to run away from a corner. Very tough for him to get deep. You almost have to scheme him deep.
He got a little bit of a grab on his elbow there at the end of the route.
I don't think he had a chance for that one.
No, I don't either. Second and 10. From across the middle, incomplete, intended for Matt Landers that time. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
What a...
Since the South Carolina game, when he had 3 interceptions, Jake's been pretty steady. Of course, you can throw that Kentucky thing out. It was a monsoon.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Crowd getting into it.
Here it is, that front 3 with the help of the extra rusher right here, coming at an angle. Where do they put pressure?
Fromm throws the out, got it complete. Pickens has to fight for the 1st down, and he got it. Pickens was about a yard shy, and he wheeled around and picked it up.
Well, this offensive line is only allowed 5 sacks, number 2 in the country. You know who's number 1 in the country? Air Force, and they don't throw.
Play action, Fromm to throw again, and this one's no man's land. Cager was the closest guy. I think Marlon Davidson might have got a hand on that.
Just think about that. For this type of a team, only giving up 5 sacks all year. Now, that's part Jake Fromm, but that's also part of that offensive line that we saw up close against Florida. They held their own that day. There was no outside rush. The 2 defensive ends could not make a difference for Florida, and that's the game they were most impressive, as you ask me.
And so far, they're off to a pretty good start in this quarter against this group. Marlon Davidson standing up to rush this time, and Brian Herring stuffed for a 3-yard loss.
This is on the bottom of that tackle. It's got the ankles this time. I think it's number 5. That's who I'd go with. Watch him kind of sneak in there, split the double team, dive in, and make the tackle. Guy's going to be a very rich man next year.
Yeah, he is. We asked Marlon Davidson yesterday, what do you consider your strengths and his strengths? He said, I'm more the athletic, but Derek gets double teamed all the time. I think he's a little stronger than I am.
They were funny, those 2 guys.
Boy, they were something together.
They could go on TV, yes.
3rd down and 12. From pressure this time, he's going to go down, and it's Marlon Davidson.
There's his buddy.
As Marlon said, Marlon's going to do what he do, and he just got the sack on Jake Fromm.
What'd he say? Marlon's going to do what he do, right?
That's his 6.5 sack of the season, doing what he do right there.
And he went over a big man, Andrew Thomas, right there. And I believe him. He said, I'm pretty athletic off that edge, and he showed it.
So it forces a Georgia punt. Jake Camarda had a career long the last time he kicked one and dropped it down at the 2-yard line, a 67-yarder. As he stands right in that strip of sunshine here at Pat Dye Field.
Delay a game.
Delay game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
It's not a nightmare penalty for Georgia right here, but I think they were trying to put Simmons in motion. He kept waiting for him to go in motion. He wouldn't go. No need to take a timeout there for Georgia. You sacrifice 5 yards, not a big deal. Simmons was pointing like, I ain't going in motion.
Camarda's not in the sun right now. And a kick. Fair catch taken right around the 15-yard line by Christian Tutt. And that's where Auburn will go back to work on offense. Tonight at 7 Eastern over on CBS Sports Network, college football action continues. 17th ranked Cincinnati Bearcats take on the USFL Bulls on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Here in the SEC, Georgia on the road leading by a touchdown in the final moments of quarter number 1.
Boy, you try to think about what is Auburn trying to establish here. You know, they've thrown 11 passes already in the game. Do they think they can't run the ball? Because right now it's slants and nothing.
Georgia's number 1 in the SEC in run defense. They give up about 4 yards there to bring the first quarter to a close. Jordan Davis on the tackle on Boobie Whitlow. So it played 15 on the Plains at Jordan-Hare Stadium at the end of the first quarter with a score. Georgia Bulldogs 7, Auburn Tigers nothing. We'll return to Auburn after this message and a word from your local station. We are back to start the second quarter at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Low-scoring game, kind of like what we expected so far. Georgia with one explosive play, the 51-yard touchdown from Jake Fromm. And now Bo Nix backpedals for the Tigers. Chased by Ojulari, and is going to have to run out of bounds at about the 21-yard line as we welcome you back to the booth. Brad and Gary, Jamie down on the field. I like what you asked me, and we don't have an answer yet. What's the identity for Auburn right now?
I don't know, but I think their identity has to be, Ness, they're going to have to get some help running the ball. We've seen this Georgia team twice live. Against Notre Dame, Ian Book, his help, 46 yards rushing in that game. Kyle Trask had a good game. 21 yards rushing. Eventually it was too much for either quarterback. I think that's what Auburn, I don't think they can win if they can't run the ball.
And that's kind of what Missouri went through last week against Georgia. They had 24 carries for only 50 yards. So running against the Georgia defense hasn't been easy for anybody.
And I wonder if Auburn can run the ball without running their quarterback designed runs within the offense.
Aaron Sipos to punt again. End over end kick. Late fair catch call by Dominic Blaylock around the 36-yard line. Got a moment here. Let's test your knowledge with today's Aflac trivia question. Which is, what's the most played matchup in college football history? We told you they've been playing this one since 1892. Is there one out there that's longer?
I'm assuming it's not this one because we asked.
That's right. Okay, so there's the hint.
That's the hint. After that, take it from there.
This one went back. Used to play at Piedmont Park in Atlanta for the first 10 years, and then it was either at Auburn or Athens since. 7-0 Georgia in the. Oh, what a spin move by DeAndre Swift. Wow.
Yep. He had a game last year. Papo had a chance for him, number 10, right there coming off the edge. We saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire do that last week for a touchdown, but that's what this guy Swift can give you.
He had a career-high 186 on 17 carries last year in this matchup. They fake it to him here, and Fromm comes up throwing.
Good coverage.
In and out of the hands of Kyrus Jackson.
Yeah, Javaris Davis that time. Going to play bump and run to the outside, man-to-man coverage. He's matched up all the way, and he does it perfectly. Watch him in phase, and then go back and beat him to the ball.
Yeah, that's picture perfect play out there on the corner. Fromm sets him up at the 45-yard line. Draw play to Swift. Trying to bounce it outside. DeAndre Swift. Good run. Ball out. And it goes out of bounds. Luckily for Georgia. They're going to get a first down out of it.
I'll tell you, Solomon Kinley that time, the onside guard, meaning the guard to the area, comes out and throws a great block on the play, but that ball was fumbled. His knee was not down, and fortunate for Georgia, it goes out of bounds.
There you see it flying to the sideline.
We're going to move it back.
They bring it back to the 49-yard line where it's third down.
They moved it back to the spot of the fumble. I'm a little confused. Maybe Gene can help us why it goes back.
Meantime, Jake Fromm rolls to throw. And nobody out there. Gene's territories are rules official, Gene.
Yeah, guys, when we have a fumble forward and out of bounds, we'll bring the ball back to the spot of the fumble. We don't want to give them that gain of yardage if it's a fumble forward out of bounds. That's why they came back to the spot of the fumble.
Gene, would it have made any difference had an Auburn player touched that and then it went out of bounds?
Not touched it, Brad. Possessed it, but not touched it. If it ends up out of bounds, then you do come back to the spot of that fumble if there's been no other possessions.
Okay, thanks, Gene. Meanwhile, there's a flag thrown back where Christian Tutt is the punt returner. Unless they picked it up. And they did. So fourth down. You look behind Jake Kamara. This one might get inside the 10 again. A big bounce this time, though, and Georgia can't get to it. So it's a touchback.
Simmons was a little upset that Webb didn't catch it in the air and allowed it to bounce into the end zone.
Georgia with a touchdown lead. Auburn with the football offensively when we come back. Gary, this has pretty much been the Auburn offense so far.
This is it right here. It's been the slant pass. Auburn to this point has 61 yards, and half of them have been on the inside slant. Have not been able to run the ball. 7 rushes for 9 yards. The long, a 6-yard carry by Bo Nix. What do? Do you throw deep? Do you try to soften up this defense? Or do you just try to see if you can run the ball and help your quarterback? Interesting dilemma for Gus. No.
They fake slants and lose a yard.
Yeah, they run it right up the middle, and they run it right into Tyler Clark.
Auburn's last 2 drives, 3 plays 1 yard, 3 plays 5 yards. Now they have 1 play for -1 yard on that one. Second down and 11 from the 19. Nix looking to throw all the way, and there it is again. Seth Williams.
Well, that's all you got. That's all you got, right?
I guess. At least it's working a little bit.
It is. I don't think you can win a game on a slant pass, but that's all they got right now.
Now the pitch on the run to Whitlow. Wow, second effort by Boobie Whitlow gets a first down.
What a play, because Tay Crowder had that thing defended that time. Crowder comes off the edge and then forces it back inside, and then a cut up just at the last second.
Got it to the 30. That's what they needed.
Because Crowder had that thing sniffed out. Boobie makes a good cut and for the first down.
4 wideouts for Nix here on first down. They'll run it with Whitlow. And another good run by Whitlow. Almost got to the first down marker. Picked up about 8.
Here's the dilemma for Auburn. They're running, they've got 2 deep safeties. Right now, Georgia's saying, we bet you can't run it, and we don't have to put a safety up there. That's the dilemma for Auburn trying to throw the ball.
Devontae Wyatt, the defensive end, is the guy down for Georgia. We'll check on him when we come back.
Adam Zucker with this Heisman Watch presented by Nissan. Wisconsin's Jonathan Taylor running into history and victory at Nebraska, passing Herschel Walker for the most rushing yards by a player through his junior season. Herschel did it with far fewer games, though. Jalen Hurts with a big one against undefeated Baylor tonight, and Joe Burrow and the Tigers are going to their rival Ole Miss. Now we go back to Ness, Gary, and Jamie.
All right, Adam, thanks. 7-0 here, Georgia. in front.
Well, remember that last injury to Devontae here. He goes down, his right leg kind of whips into the ground here. But let's show you a different ankle. He gets up, he looks over and bang, he goes down. He looks over to the bench. Now, are you buying door number 1 or door number 2?
I'm not getting involved. Second down in the yard. Schwartz with a first down. Schwartz, a guy they would love to get in some space. He is the fastest guy in football.
Funny, we went out to practice and I saw Big Cat, and remember we had his act. And I said, Big Cat, you been working on that? And he just had a big sheepish smile right there.
First down, Auburn at the 44. Next straight drop, now rolls to throw and incomplete. Intended for Canella. And it was DJ Daniel over there covering for Georgia.
That's the problem for Auburn. We showed you the 2 safeties, LeCount and J.R. Reed, number 20, are lining up about 12 yards deep and daring Auburn to run the ball.
Here comes a blitz from the secondary. Nix throws complete to Hastings. And Will Hastings close to a first down.
This is where Auburn likes to go fast, 3rd and short.
They're hustling up, that's for sure. Less than a yard to go. And they get the first down with Whitlow on the ground. Michael Barnett looking upset that they weren't able to stand him up and keep him from moving the chains.
Well, you can see that Georgia is ready for this hurry up. They faced it, Kirby, for years, faced it as the defensive coordinator for Alabama. They're used to Gus's, the matchup, Kirby's defense against Gus's offense. They are ready for each other.
First down for Auburn. Nix almost looked to the sideline and didn't see the snap, and now he's going to go deep for Schwartz. And in out of his hands, Daniel got a hand in there at the last moment.
Well, if you saw last week's game when LSU stole the touchdown against Alabama did, Auburn did the same thing. They looked to the sideline and quick snapped it and tried to get Schwartz deep. Remember the Alabama play, they tried to steal one and actually got a touchdown against Derek Stingley on the end, Devontae Smith. Same play. They looked to the sideline and quick snap it. Almost got it.
Sean Shivers in the backfield, and it's Bo Nix on a quarterback.
See, that's what I think they got to do right there. I don't think they have any choice. Without involving the quarterback in the run game, as you see the wraparound by Mike Horton coming in there to get the key block, I don't think they have enough rush offense to take the pressure off Bo Nix in the passing game.
So 3rd down and 3 here at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter.
They got 8 men in the box. There's LeCount this time.
And it's a direct snap to Whitlow, and he's not going to get there. Got about a yard. Detarvius Whitlow, affectionately known as Booby around here. His timeline this year, first 6 games was rolling pretty good. Then the knee problem. Played 4 snaps against LSU, just out of the Wildcat as he was there. And now back to full health.
This will be the quick huddle, the sugar huddle. The receivers will go quickly, and then the line will go after them.
4th down and 2. It's Whitlow again. Direct snap coming. And hesitates, tries to cut back. There's nowhere to hide. Dropped by David Marshall.
Well, he was eventually dropped by David Marshall, you're right, but it was stopped dead on up front. That defensive line for Georgia took it on, and there were players all over. It could have been, Ajari could have had the tackle. This was defended, scouted, and stopped.
From high above Jordan-Hare Stadium, our aerial coverage sponsored by State Farm, and then down to Pat Dye Field and Jamie.
Derek Brown returned to Auburn for his senior season, and he's having an impactful one, but you have to wonder what he's going to be able to accomplish in the NFL. Well, I talked to Rodney Garner, his D-line coach. 30 years he's been coaching defensive linemen. He told me Derek Brown is a combination of these two guys he coached at Georgia, Marcus Stroud, Richard Seymour, both first-round draft picks in 2001, and this is the product we're getting from Derek Brown today.
That's some nice company. First down, Georgia, with just over 9 to go in the half. Zamir White in the backfield for Georgia with Jake Fromm for the first time today. From midfield, it is Zamir White. And he goes for about 3, number 3. A little bit earlier, we asked you the Aflac trivia question, which was, what's the most played matchup in college football history? Minnesota and Wisconsin. The battle for Paul Bunyan's axe is the longest. And then Georgia and Auburn next in line. And right now, the 124th edition has the Dogs on the road in front by a touchdown.
It's Eli Wolf, the tight end H-back on the hash right here to kind of give it a tough look for this Auburn defense.
They're going to throw it out in the flat the other way. Blaylock, and he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but well played by Daniel Thomas, one of the captains back there at safety.
We showed Richard LeCount coming up on that tackle, and this time Daniel Thomas does the same thing. You cannot give these athletes in this league space, and that time it was eaten up by Thomas.
Third down and 7. Number 7 back in for Georgia, DeAndre Swift.
Offensive line, defensive line. Who wins?
Fromm fires in and out of the hands of Dominic Blaylock. Would have been a first down, but a nice play by Javaris Davis.
Absolutely. That's a second great man-to-man coverage play that Davis has made in this game. Decent protection, throws it out there. It's a good throw. Same play, they actually put the game away to Eli Wolf against Florida, the out route, and this time defended.
Camarda to punt. The 7th punt today between the two teams.
Auburn's keeping their defense on the field. They're playing safe.
End over end kick. Georgia sees that one go out of bounds at where? About the 7-yard line? 6-yard line. Another good punt.
Jeez.
Jake Camarda, 2 dandies.
Yeah.
You want to pin those guys back? Kirby was going to field that. Decided not to call a fair catch. And out of bounds at the 6.
Adam Zucker in New York. Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, BJ, Kevin, and I will have the latest on Tua Tagovailoa. Carted off during Alabama's win in Starkville today with what Nick Saban called a freak injury. It was a hip injury, and he was taken straight to Birmingham for further evaluation as the game continued. As we go back to Ness, Gary, and Jamie.
All right, Zook, thanks. Back at Auburn, 7-0 Georgia. And, boy, you know, all of college football devastated by that. You don't have to be an SEC fan.
Well, especially the way the 2 years he's had has been amazing. But I think a lot of the narrative here, I think, is backwards. They've been saying this is going to hurt Alabama with the voters. I think Alabama remembers back to Cardell Jones for Ohio State, 3rd-string quarterback. If Alabama comes in here and beats Auburn without Tua, they deserve to be number 4. That would be a more impressive thing than before. And as we remember, J.T. Barrett and Braxton Miller were hurt, a 3rd-string quarterback. So the team has to get the credit, not just the quarterback.
Well said, my friend.
Number 3, DJ Williams.
DJ Williams on a carry.
I mean, everybody thought Ohio State shouldn't have been in with Cardell Jones, and look what they did. You got to say the team deserves the nod. Whether they get it or not, you can't eliminate them just because they don't have Tua.
Here's the possessions for Auburn. They missed that 47-yard field goal. And then it's been punting for the most part.
And it looked like Devontae Smith's fine, number 95 back in the game.
Ojulari and Clark combined to bring Bo Nix down.
Excuse me, Devontae Wyatt, number 95 back in the football game. Trying to find a way to get some rushing yards, and Mr. Clark comes in there and does a good job.
Tyler Clark's had a heck of a first half. Senior out of Americus, Georgia. It's funny, look at the defensive fronts for these two teams, and 75% of their defensive linemen are natives of the state of Georgia. 3rd down and 8. Nick's in trouble, has to unload it from his own end zone.
Surprised he double pumped it. I do not know why he did not let it go. Adam Anderson, number 19, is in his face as he lets it go. A little stunt from the inside. Adams is out there. Anderson's out there. And the double pump is really throwing him off. And now Georgia's going to get field position again. They've had it at the 39, 29, 26, 35, and 50. And they most likely will end up with the 50-yard line again. You know, Georgia's had one play, great field position all game.
Zipos with that sidewinding kick. Blaylock, tough catch, but a good one at the 38. And gets about 4 yards, but there's a flag.
And a penalty, too. Field position we were guessing would be around the 50 could really be moved back to around the 30.
John McDade, our referee. Haven't had a lot of penalties today between two teams that come in with quite a few penalties.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block with targeting on number 6 of the return team. There's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the return. Correction, 15-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. This play is now under video review.
Number 6 would be Otis Reese for Georgia. There he is right in the middle of the screen. Definitely blindside and definitely targeting. Yeah. That's an easy call, I think.
Let's see if Gene Steratore agrees.
I think what's really important, too, is the way that John McDade announced this. We have a blindside block with targeting. So after review, if they do look at this and they don't think that an indicator or something rises to the level of targeting, there will still be a foul for a blindside block. I agree with you, though. I think it is meeting. I think you do definitely have an indicator. You have a lowering of the head. The contact is to the head neck area, and a blindside player a player who is being blocked from the blind side is also defenseless by definition. So I do think that we have the elements that will allow them to confirm, at least in my opinion, to confirm a targeting in this situation.
You know, Gene, it appeared to me that this is a new rule this year, the blindside block. Targeting would have been called last year, but would this have been clipping last year? Let's suppose he didn't target him. Is that the blindside block? Was that enough, or could that have been called a clip?
You know what, Gary, I don't think, because I think with a block in the back in that scenario, because it's not a clip, we're above the waist on this contact, but even for a block in the back, he makes contact with the
ruling
side.
on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 6 is disqualified for the remainder of the game.
That's the end of the day for
Gene. Yeah,
Otis Reese.
Otis Reese is not in the first line of rotation in the secondary, too deep in safeties, but a special teamer.
Wow, there's the miss. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's definitely a time to go to the locker room.
And again, look at this ball. It's 25 yards back farther than where we speculated Georgia might get the ball.
So they work offensively after the penalty at the 25-yard line,
and
with
it's really,
6 minutes to go in the half.
And it's really their worst starting field position of the game at the 25.
Brian Harrion and Jake Fromm in the Georgia backfield. And it is Brian Harrion crawling his way for 3 or 4 yards. Big Cat Brian holding on for dear life, number 1.
I think this defense for Auburn needs a 3 and out to help their offense, basically. Give them some field positions so that they can call some plays and open it up a little bit.
Second and 7 from under center this time. Play action. That one wobbled out of his hand unless that was hit by somebody. Had to be. Derek Brown, maybe?
He stands up and gives it the no, 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 like a DB does, you know, when he stops him. Derek Brown right in the middle. Gets in there and gets a hand on it. Yep. Match up against Kinley. That's man against man there, and he gets the left paw. Derek Brown, one of the big-time recruits that Georgia thought they were going to get, playing for Auburn years ago.
One of the captains out of Sugar Hill, Georgia. And the crowd is wound right now on 3rd down and 7. Lets it fly, incomplete, intended for Charlie Warner, the tight end.
You really can't blame Jake Fromm. His clock in that pocket, it has to be get the ball, take a look, get rid of it. Even if it's good protection, you cannot count on that. And again, what you're seeing is what you're going to get. Now, you watch a Missouri tape last week. Missouri played man-to-man the whole game, just like this.
Second straight 3 and out now. Camarda to punt.
Camarda's having a game.
He is. Christian Tutt has to backpedal back to the 13 or 14-yard line. So Camarda, another nice punt for Georgia. This Thursday, gather together for a special Thanksgiving episode of The Unicorn. It's your night in, all new, Thursday, 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS. Well, with 5:17 remaining in the half, we expected a little bit of a rock fight, and we got it, 7-0.
Exactly. Well, one big play, basically, right? They caught the Auburn safeties standing flat-footed, and Jake put it right on target, the play lock, and that's been the story of the game.
One explosive play for Georgia, and Gus Malzahn says we need 4 of those in this game to win. Hasn't gotten one so far.
Look at that.
Nice play by Monty Rice.
Yes, those 2 inside linebackers. Again, you go back to this Georgia defense, and you go, you know, where's their star? You know, they don't have one of those guys, oh, sure, first rounder, but they've got 11 guys that can play. And by the way, if you're going to do a Georgia game, you better have a big scouting board, because they play a lot of guys.
They rotate a lot of guys in there at every position. Whitlow back in the Auburn backfield. Nix to throw down the middle. Got it. Seth Williams on the run. Williams with a stiff arm. To the 45-yard line. It was one of their biggest plays.
Well, same strategy. Get inside, and you got in Stokes. Maybe their best cover player all year. And when it works, they run another one fast.
Pick up of 28 to the 45. Nix wanting more. This one incomplete, intended for J.J. Wilson.
Boy, that hurry up, sometimes you wonder how many plays you actually waste in the hurry up, because that time on the slant pass, the previous play, that has been Bo Nix, and that's been Auburn's best play by far in this football game.
Got a finger in the face mask there a little bit.
Yep.
2nd and 10. Seth Williams having a good first half with 7 catches. Nix getting pressured. Ojolari tried to get him, and now Nix is going to keep it and get what he can, run out of bounds.
I'll tell you, this Georgia defense is so disciplined in their substitutions. They get their guys off the field fast.
Big 3rd down here for the Auburn offense. So far, 3 out of 9. Georgia brings an extra man up on the defensive front. Will Hastings in motion. And we're going to get a timeout.
First charge timeout of the half, Auburn.
There's big 3rd downs, and then there's big 3rd downs, Gary.
Right, and you know, what do you dial up? You don't want your young quarterback to make a mistake, but can you really beat Georgia being conservative? I mean, sometimes you just got to say, I'm sorry, I can't protect you. We got to call it, we got to block it, and you have to stick it in there.
Seth Williams has been the #1 target for Bo Nix today so far. Third and 9. Nix Fires complete to Schwartz, and it's good for a first down.
The speed route from their slot receiver. He's got an off inside technique, throws it to the outside, and Schwartz puts up both hands and gets the first down.
At the 44, now they go quickly, and it's Nix on the keeper. He lost the ball. Might be Georgia. Nix had a second chance at it, but I think it slipped away. Jermaine Johnson might be on the bottom of that pile. Richard LeCount's down there, and LeCount's got the ball. Johnson's the guy that caused it. LeCount covered it.
Run the quarterback would have been successful, but just the reach out, just enough by Johnson to poke that ball loose right on the football, and that popped it out. I do not like quarterbacks carrying their ball in the non-dominant hand. They do not practice it. We saw it last week with Tua. He had it in his right arm. I think when you're a right-handed player, as a passer, keep it in your right hand. You don't practice running the ball with your non-dominant hand.
Well, that just squashed an impressive march for Auburn, finally getting something going on offense, and it's a turnover.
Yeah, plus now Georgia gets the ball to start the second half. This could be the dreaded 2-for-1.
They've got 3:18 to work and 2 timeouts.
Pressure on this Auburn defense.
Draw play, DeAndre Swift. Little hesitation, and Britt brings him down after the pickup of a couple.
They cannot, this defense cannot allow this game to get out of hand right now. They know their offense is going to struggle to get to 20 points.
And they don't want Georgia to get to 14 by halftime.
Exactly.
Jake Fromm will be under center on 2nd down and 8. Charlie Warner, the tight end, moves into the slot on the right. It's Swift. Tough 3 more.
You know, on the other side of the page here for Georgia, even getting a long field goal attempt, make it 10-0 is big for Georgia. In a scoring game where your defense is handling the Auburn offense, you get it more than 1 score, you start to feel good.
Now, you were talking about what do you do with Bo Nix when you got a guy that is in his 38th straight start at quarterback. Unleash Jake Fromm. You got it.
Oh, yeah, you trust Jake Fromm. There's no doubt about that.
3rd and 5. It'll be Jake all by his lonesome in the Georgia backfield. Fromm throws, almost picked off. Nice play by Javaris Davis.
Wow, number 3 for 13. Javaris Davis does a wonderful. He takes the chance. He undercuts the throw. Get in there, get it, and go for it. He didn't worry about the tackle. He had a running back, by the way. At time he felt confident having Harrion instead of a wide receiver. He didn't take a half step back. I actually thought Swift on the other side had a better matchup. I'm surprised that on that play Fromm went with that matchup. That was not a good matchup.
So Auburn got the stop it needed. 3 straight 3-and-outs for Georgia. Javaris Davis came in with 4 pass breakups on the year. He's got 3 in this half, as Gary just said. He's been around a while. 34th start for him.
Brad, I think that's why Kirby was talking to Jake, going, why did you choose Harrion on their corner? That was a bad choice, as the officials call in both sides to warn him about something.
Getting a little bit too chippy, I guess. Camarda has been the special team player of the game so far with his punting. And I think Georgia's got a false start by their punt protection or somebody. There's a flag down.
False start, 41, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
The end of that 3rd down play. Here's what was going on. Okay, and that's why they pulled the 2 teams together.
Cade Mays on that one in the middle of it. Everybody pushing everybody. Isaiah Wilson.
And now we got more whistles.
Delay game, offense, snapping the ball prior to being ready for play. That's a 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, I guess the center official wasn't out of the way yet. Georgia may never get this punt off the way this thing's going.
Yeah, I think Kirby's saying he left the center. How does the center know once the official left him, why can't he snap it?
He's not going to get the 5 yards back. Now Georgia comes up to the line, and Camarda's way back inside his own 20.
That was almost Auburn's best drive.
Fielded at the 6-yard line by Tutt. Coming back the other way. Christian Tutt knocked out of bounds, but a good return. He got it out around the 27 or 28-yard line.
Just trying to see the mechanics of what happened on the second. They called the delay of game because it was snapped too soon. Let's see what happens. The official's there. Georgia comes up. He backs off. I don't know why you can't snap it. That's what Kirby's wanting to know. Why can't you snap it?
At any rate, Georgia had to kick it away, and Auburn's now got an opportunity with 2 timeouts and 1:40 to go.
This is where I think you know, for if you're Auburn, you don't want to make a mistake like Alabama made at the end of the half right here. Get a screen pass, get something safe, get it up a little bit farther.
Nix looking right all the way, and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Will Hastings. Brings up 2nd and 10.
That was another good throw by Bo right there to the outside. Matched up to the outside on a safety. Could have had it.
I know they got J.J. Wilson, the big receiver, slotted to the left side there. On 2nd and 10. Nix wanting to throw right, goes that way, but it's too far in front of Seth Williams. Incomplete. Coming up, Adam, Kevin Carter, and BJ will have first half analysis, scores, and highlights on the Geico halftime report. Zook and the guys will have more on Tua Tagovailoa, what they know and what they've heard on his injury today.
I think the crowd is reacting to whether he caught this ball or not. Will there be a replay? We've got a big enough screen to look at it.
The fans do. One of the biggest ones in the conference.
Absolutely, here at the stadium.
3rd down and 10. Georgia sneaking up there where they bring in an extra rusher. They do off the corner. Throws a screen to Schwartz.
I think they're going to have a replay on this, or Gus called timeout before the snap.
Prior to the snap, replay was initiated from the replay booth.
Could have probably done that a little quicker, guys.
Yep. Catches it, then puts it in one hand, and he bobbles it. To me, he double catches it.
Well,
first look.
Kirby Smart is right there, and you see Kirby going like this with the bobble.
One.
That's not in his possession right there.
And double catch. No, that is not going to be a catch.
That's Kirby right there in front of Seth Williams, and he'll go, no, no, no.
And that's a defensive back look right there.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
He played safety for a long time for Georgia. Kirby's over there going, I don't care when I was all SEC in '98. Right. It's the same kind of call there. You got to catch the ball. But they're still taking a look at it. He has a look of shock on his face right now.
Catches it, then recatches it, and never really establishes his feet. And to me, that's what I see.
By that time, his left foot's about 2 feet out of bounds, it appeared.
The problem that Kirby's talking to the referee about is because the play was stopped, Georgia had stopped the wide receiver screen. It was not going to make the first down. They had stopped it. The 22 guys on the field.
After video review, the ruling of the incomplete pass at the sideline is confirmed. Can the game clock operator please restore the game clock to 1:30, 1:30.
See, Kirby's going, there was no need to stop it there. It was obvious incomplete, and we had stopped the play. Now we have to stop them again.
All right, and it's going to be 3rd down to try to stop them again with 1.5 minutes to go in the half.
Well, Gonzalez is in that spot he was last time when we ran the quick out to the sideline, but this time it's an outside technique instead of an inside technique by Webb.
3rd and 10 from the 29. Nick's quick throw, too high. Is it picked off by Daniel?
I think it skipped.
And it did, but Georgia gets the stop.
Yeah, that's the disaster play for your Auburn right there. You make a mistake down this side of the field, this game could go to 14 easily. Overthrow and skips off the ground.
Yep, one hopper. So Zippos to punt again.
Still plenty of time and 2 timeouts left. Nice catch.
Nice snap, got it away. Good kick. Fair catch way back around the 19-yard line by Dominic Blaylock. So Georgia with 1:19 to go in the half. And now we're going to do Project Smarter, presented by the Home Depot.
Turn it back inside. It's one of the first things you learn when you're on defense. Know where your help is. And when someone's trying to get around the edge, you got 8 or 9 guys inside. If you could just remember this one thing, turn it to where you got help. And that's what this Georgia defense has done this game. And on a quick snap, they were ready for this. This was scouted and defeated.
And a
Good
13-yard loss right there.
Absolutely. Good scouting, and they were ready for that play.
Let's see if Georgia plays it conservatively or not from inside their own 20.
I wonder if they could get a little screen pass to Swift and give him some space here.
They haven't really got him in space yet.
Yeah.
Or he hasn't gotten himself in space on the ground game. He'll try here. And got almost 5. Arlen Davidson on the tackle, big number 3. It's funny to watch that defensive front. Davidson, number 3, and Brown, number 5, and Big Cat Bryant, number 1. All those 300-pounders wearing single digits. 1:12 remaining first half. Georgia 7-0. Let's take a look at the Dr. Pepper SEC Conference standings. The all-important one we're watching right now. Georgia, if they can win here today at Auburn, clinches the SEC East.
Let me go on record because it cried out. I'm surprised Auburn took a timeout here. I would have just let Georgia do what they want. This could turn into something bad.
Here's a pitch. DeAndre Swift. Swift into the secondary this time, out to the 40.
I think it's too much of a gamble. A field goal is so big in this part of the game. I would have let Georgia make the decision. I didn't want to stop the clock if I'm Auburn.
DeAndre Swift's best run of the day, 16-yard pickup to the 40. And now Fromm looking to throw and hit the knee, I think, of his intended receiver, Curious Jackson.
And penalty. It's going to be pass interference.
On McCreary?
Yep. Got his jersey, yes, easy call.
Pass interference, number 23, the defense. The penalty places this ball at the spot of the foul with automatic first down.
Here's the gamble that Gus made. He thought he could get a 3 and out again. Okay, so now he gives Georgia, with time to go still in this game, a minute and 2 timeouts.
And
they can run anything they want.
And a pretty good kicker.
Yes.
1 minute remaining in the half. Dogs from their own 47. From throw is complete. Out of bounds. Curious Jackson. Same guy, same target. This time a catch.
Well, Curious Jackson was injured earlier with a hand injury. Has come back now, and they seem to have found a matchup they like over there with McCreary. Short side of the field. He plays boundary corner. That's where he lines up. They're going away from number 13, Davis. They're going at McCreary.
Draw play. DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is Swift and almost took it.
There's his patented move, too. When he breaks the line of scrimmage, he aggressively goes to his right and then plants that foot and cuts. He's as good as there is at it. Boom, right there. Barely touched.
Georgia in the red zone now, knocking on the door after a 26-yard carry by Swift. From out wide side, completes Demetrius Robertson.
Well, just think, if Gus had not taken a timeout, there still could be, 8-10 seconds. Now there's plenty of time.
And he's going to take another one right
I
here.
don't blame him now. His defense is gassed right now. It doesn't make any difference. He needs those defensive linemen to be ready to go and get a sack here.
The timeout with 32 seconds remaining. The 2 big fellas you can see him breathing heavy, as Gary said. And the line of scrimmage now is the 8-yard line. Georgia still with 2 timeouts. If nothing else, they've got Rodrigo Blankenship, who's a weapon as a kicker, 19 out of 22 on the year. But right now they would love to get a touchdown. And Auburn trying to prevent that. There's Hot Rod warming up on the sideline. That last run by DeAndre Swift, part of back-to-back runs that netted him 42 yards.
He needs that defensive line to win a play here. Boy, he rests them and then takes out Marlon Davis. He's confused. Marlon ran to the sideline, so I got more tired running back than playing. He's very upset on the sideline that he's not in the game.
Second down at 4 at the 8. Brian Harrion with Fromm in the Georgia backfield.
They can run the ball here. 2 timeouts left.
Demetrius Robertson in motion. Fromm going to throw it to Harrion on the corner. Close to a first down. I don't think he got it, though.
This whole drive, except for the Swift run right up the middle, the whole drive had been into the short side of the field. They've gone from the left hash all the way down the field.
We got somebody hurt on the sideline, and that's not a good sign, as Harrion was knocked out of bounds. And so we sort of hold our breath for a different reason.
Yeah, Marlon's going, I'm back in the game. I think KJ Britt was the guy who was over there on the tackle. I wonder if he's the one that got injured on the play. Number 33 right here.
No, it's a person on the sideline.
I got you, sorry.
And
Britt gets up. He's fine. Harrion's fine.
And the person that Harrion ran into is not.
It's not.
Fine. Meanwhile, it's 3rd down and 1.
Looks like a guy taking a picture with his camera right here is the one who he runs into right over.
I think it's a young lady,
is it?
In fact, but well, we can't speculate. There's too many people around right now. But you can see the look on the fans' faces as a lot of concern. Let's bring in Jamie.
Yeah, it's a painful quiet down here right now, guys. This young woman is a photographer, and I haven't seen her move her extremities since she got hit, so they're bringing the stretcher out right now.
Oh, boy. Just like everybody else here, just trying to do her job, and look at concern as we are up here.
And that's the student section, which is right there in front of the play. So they saw it right in front of them.
We don't want to speculate at all on the injury. We don't know the young lady's name. We go back down to Jamie. Maybe Jamie knows more.
She's still knocked unconscious, guys. She hasn't opened her eyes. They're putting the neck brace on her right now, treating her very cautiously. I'll try to find out what publication she's shooting for.
Let's just scrape down to Jamie right now.
Her eyes have been open. She has responded to the medical professionals that are checking on her as they rock her onto this board, but it's good news that she has woken up.
Ness, did it look to you like she had the camera shooting pictures as she got run over?
I don't know if she was shooting a picture of Brian Harrion coming out of bounds or taking a picture of somebody else.
Exactly.
But you're so vulnerable down there, and we've seen that happen with cameramen before. We had one of our guys 2 or 3 weeks ago that was injured on the sideline because you're there doing your job and doing your thing. And again, there is, you can see the camera up. She tried to avoid Brian Harrion at the last second, but Brian's leg hit her on the way by. And so the medical personnel, as Jamie said, are being very, very cautious here to try to get her to.
It was like she saw Brian Harrion and he saw her, and he tried to skip by her, and as he tried to get by her, his knee hit her right in the head area.
Funny how you go from a football game and think it's important to something.
I'm talking about the left hash.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. And all of a sudden you're talking about something way more important.
Yeah, I mean, You know, you're looking at the clock, you're looking at the next play, you're thinking they might got to hurry up, and then you go, oh my God.
Yeah. Both teams, meanwhile, are waiting out there at the 5-yard line, roughly. And looks like they're going to allow play to resume. And you do see her eyes open now, blinking her eyes a little bit if you caught that. I'm sure a very scared young lady as well, as we are for her. And now the Auburn players are trying to get the fans back into it with them backed up to their own 5-yard line. And we'll find out if we can find out anything further. Obviously, we will let you know. Jamie might have a little bit more right now.
Guys, this young woman is a Georgia student photographer who came from Athens. So she's got a bruise on her right eye as she's getting wheeled out of the stadium. We'll try to find out where they're going to send her.
Meanwhile, back to the 5-yard line, 3rd down and 1. Georgia now shifts and puts Wolf in the backfield with Harrion. Fromm under center. Play fake. Fromm's going to loft it to Harrion. Brian Harrion. Touchdown, Georgia. Five-yard scoring toss, and Georgia does get a touchdown before halftime.
Well, Auburn stopped them once, but then they got the ball back too quickly. Gus Malzahn calls a timeout, and that timeout allows Georgia to do whatever they want. They could throw the ball short, they could run the ball, and it was too much for this defense, and that changes a lot. You just wonder if Gus, knowing that Georgia was getting the ball to start the second half, he tried to steal a possession, and it might have cost him big time.
Rodrigo Blankenship in for the point after. Up and good. So Brian Harrion, who on the previous play injured a photographer, and I'm sure he felt terrible. He's feeling a little better right now. 14-0 Georgia. Less than a minute, Gary, to go. 81 yards in 7 plays, and you see the smile on Brian Harrion. His first receiving touchdown of the year has given Georgia a 2-touchdown lead.
Everything was to the short side of the field. Everything went to the matchup they wanted. They wanted to go against Roger McCreary, but the 2 plays, the pitch play to Swift and then the long run up the middle to Swift, I thought were the key plays of the drive.
Jake Fromm, only 9 out of 18 for 91 yards, but 2 of them are touchdowns. One a 51-yarder and one a 5-yarder a moment ago. And Igbenogany will just watch Blankenship's kickoff go out the back of the end zone. And during that last time out, you can see the head coach at Auburn knowing that his team's in a little bit of trouble right now just before halftime.
Yeah, I mean, I know what's going through his head. You know, he's having a tough time scoring. Georgia's going to get the ball again. He's trying to think, I gotta figure out a way to steal points here, but I think it backfired on him.
And again, we mentioned it earlier. He said we need 4 explosive plays to win the game. They don't have one yet. 20 seconds in the half. And a draw play to DJ Williams. Williams goes for about 5. And that will be it for the first half.
Second down 5.
A frustrated fan base, I'm sure, a little bit right now. Going to head to the locker room trailing 4th-ranked Georgia by 2 touchdowns. Jake Fromm, 2 scoring tosses through 2 quarters. And Kirby Smart's defense has done a remarkable job again through a half of play. Let's check in with Jamie.
Coach, why do you call the timeout, the first one in that last series?
Yeah, we were trying to get the ball back. And, of course, they went down and scored. You know, that was a tough one.
Why so discombobulated on offense? Where's the disconnect?
Well, you know, we just got to get some rhythm. We got to run the football. You know, they give them credit. They're a good defense. But we'll come out in the second half. We'll run the football and get some play action going.
Coach, thanks.
Their top rusher at halftime is their quarterback with 20 yards. That's not going to do it against a Georgia defense that's #1 in the conference against the run. End of the first half, 14-0. The Dogs out in front as we head to Adam Zucker and the guys in our New York studio. Zuck.
All right, Ness, thanks very much. And coming up here on the Geico Halftime Report, BJ, Kevin, and I will have the latest on Tua Tagovailoa, who suffered what Nick Saban called a freak injury today in Starkville. After this word from your local station.
Georgia on the road at Jordan-Hare Stadium with a 2-touchdown lead over Auburn at halftime. Each week, we'll be celebrating college football's 150th anniversary with a taste of tradition presented by Sonic. And here's Jamie.
Brad, played in '96, the 100th edition of the Deep South's oldest rivalry gave us one of the most memorable games in SEC history. In the first quarter, Georgia's mascot Uga lunged at Auburn wide receiver Robert Baker, who had just scored a touchdown. At one point, down by 21, the Dogs charged back. Late in the fourth quarter, Mike Bobo hit Corey Allen for a touchdown on the last play of regulation, forcing the first overtime game in SEC history. It lasted not one, but 4 overtimes. In the end, the Bulldogs prevailed, winning 56-49.
Not going to have that many points, I don't think, today. 56-49 in that 4-overtime thriller. First half belongs to Georgia on the road today. They lead the Tigers 14-0. Just about set to start the third quarter here in Auburn, Alabama, with Georgia leading the Tigers 14-0. Before we talk about football, more importantly, let's check in with Jamie on the young lady that was injured late in the second quarter.
Yeah, Brad, she is Chamberlain Smith. She was taken to East Alabama Medical Center just up the road in Opelika, Alabama. As you saw, she was awake. She had a bruise on that right eye as she was taken immediately to the hospital. One of her colleagues went with her. She is an intern for the Georgia Athletic Department working with sports communications. I just spoke with head coach Kirby Smart, checked with him about Brian Harrion as he was the player that made contact with her. He was pretty upset in the locker room. He got together with Jake Fromm and they said a little prayer for her, as we all do, I'm sure.
Exactly. Well, Chamberlain, we know you're not watching this, but we sure hope you're okay. And back to football, a half to go here, and a half for Auburn to try to get something in
They're
gear.
not used to it. Things happen fast on that sideline.
No doubt about it. So Georgia to get the ball first, and the aforementioned Brian Harrion, one of the guys back for the Dogs. And he'll let this one go in the corner of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. Welcome back to the booth. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson. Well, partner, going to the break. Gus Malzahn told Jamie, we got to run the football.
Right.
They got to get somebody other than their quarterback to run.
And you made the point that most of their running yards have come from Bo Nix. I don't know if they're going to have that choice. I think they just might have to drop back 25 more times. They threw 25 in the first half. I don't see how they're going to run enough yards to get this game that way.
Especially with Georgia now with that 2-touchdown.
I think they need to throw some deep 50-50 balls and try to get a big play.
So Georgia starts at the 25. DeAndre Swift behind Jake Fromm.
And before they do that, they better not let Georgia score any more points.
Exactly. Kieris Jackson goes up to the top of the screen. The throw is to Demetrius Robertson on a wideout screen going nowhere. Nice job by Jeremiah Denson to make the tackle. First half game trends. Jake Fromm, only 91 yards, but 2 of them were touchdowns. 51-5. Bo Nix passing and rushing has been the majority of the Auburn offense, and DeAndre Swift has gone over 1,000 yards rushing on the season with those 2 carries on that last drive that were the majority of that drive before the touchdown pass. Second and 9. Here is DeAndre Swift out to the 31. Denson again in on the tackle.
You run behind that mass of humanity. This time it'll be Thomas and Kinley. Tackle and guard. Boom. They get it off the line of scrimmage, then fit the linebacker. You get those big guys rolling up there and just taking positive yards.
Now that front group averages 6'5", 328.
And it gets to be third and manageable.
Auburn defense would love a stop to open the third quarter.
In modern college football, DeAndre Swift is going to be the widest guy on the field now.
3rd and 4. Fromm looking the other way. The throw is knocked away by Roger McCreary. They picked on him a couple of times, but that time he was equal to the task.
You really can't blame him for going back there, right? You got to say, let's see if you can stop it. It's got D. Robertson, holds him a bit, but makes the play.
Might have got a little face mask.
Well, I thought he grabbed his arm a little bit, but he got away with it.
So Auburn got what they needed. 3 and out. Jake Kamar to the punt. That's Christian Tuck back at the 20-yard line for Auburn. Got a little bump on Kamar after the punt, but no flag, and that one sails out of bounds.
Well, you might as well rush him, because if you give him time, he's been killing it with his punts.
That one went out at about the 35-yard line, so it's pretty good field position for Auburn on offense. They haven't had great field position today. Gonna go deep. Got a man out there and got him. Dominique Blaylock.
In the pocket, he goes down. Marlon Davidson. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pylon, touchdown!
Oldest rivalry in the Deep South. Auburn, I'm said going to the break, has not had good field position today. This is their best starting field position at the 35-yard line.
When are they going to throw a deep ball in this game? Are they going to throw one 30, 40 yards and try to get a jump ball or something?
Nix throws the slant again. That's been their bread and butter, and Seth Williams has been the guy that he's thrown most of them to.
That's been their bread, butter, dessert, coffee.
Those two last things are yours, coffee and dessert. You just try to get the rest of the meal out of the way so you can have the dessert.
Right.
Second down and 3. DJ Williams carrying Monty Rice for a yard, but comes up short. And it'll be 3rd down. Now, the last time Auburn came back from 14+ down, 2010 at Alabama, there was a pretty special player in that one.
That was the Cam Master at Alabama.
The Cam back.
Yep.
3rd and 1. Nix going to throw on the run to Schwartz, and he got just enough.
And you're saying, you know, the more you watch this Georgia defense, the more you say, boy, what don't they do well?
Yeah.
I mean, they tackle well, they pursue, they're tough up the middle, they play 9 defensive inside tackles, nose tackles, they stay fresh. Man, they are a solid defense.
First down at the 46. Williams straight up the middle. And again, he's carrying Monty Rice with him. DJ Williams getting a little warmed up, the freshman.
DJ, the first time we really saw him pop, as you're watching, look at the numbers for the Georgia D, was that long run against LSU. Yeah. Remember that one?
Yeah. As you see, Georgia's good in just about every category nationally, and obviously leading the SEC in overall defense and run defense.
And the question was, as we talked earlier, was it because they didn't play elite talent, no quarterbacks? But you can see, whoever they play is going to be a tussle with this defense. They run too well.
2nd and 3, number 3 for the first down, DJ Williams.
So now they're back in that territory when Bo Nix had the fumble. Maybe the key play for Auburn's offense in the first half. You're almost wondering, with 14-0 right now, you have to put some points on the board. I think if it's anything less than 4th and 3, Gus will say, do I go for it? But the last time he tried it, he lose 13 yards on the play?
Yeah, he did. Georgia is a little discombobulated defensively on who should and should not be on the field. And on first down, it's Williams just for a yard. Jermaine Johnson on that stop. Along with Devontae Wyatt again.
Well, we've got 9 guys that line up inside, and they just two-gap you. They push, they almost like bench press the guy in front of them. They just keep him, stand him up, look on both sides, from Clark to Wyatt to Carter to Jordan Davis, Trayvon Walker. I mean, they're all over. They just keep rotating them, and they're all fresh.
2 yards a pop is all for the Auburn ground game. Booby Whitlow back in there on 2nd down and 9. Nix quarterback draw all the way. Whitlow trying to throw him a block, and he goes down around the 37. Kobe Dean, freshman linebacker, helped keep him there.
One of those five-star young players that's getting more and more action. The last 3 games, he's at 11 tackles. He's kind of earning his time on the field.
Nolan Smith, another freshman linebacker that's highly thought of in that Georgia rotation.
I got to believe as you're calling this play, you're thinking, I got 2 shots for this first down.
Yeah. A quick wide-out screen to Williams. Boy, Georgia's all over it.
It wasn't accurate enough. By the time he jumped for it, by the time he came down, DJ Daniel made the play. When you're going to run that wide receiver screen on short yardage, you have to hit it so he's running. And he did not. The jump slowed him down and allowed DJ to make the tackle.
DJ Daniel, 4.4 closing speed there. It didn't take long for him to get out and make the tackle. And then J.R. Reed and Zach Canella got a little bit tangled up there. And it's 4th down, and they're going to have to kick.
Yeah, the loss of yardage there made the decision easy.
Siposs with the boot. And this one's going out inside the 5. Nice kick at the 2-yard line. So earlier it was Camarda that did it to Auburn at the 2. Auburn returns the favor with Georgia offensively in a hole when we come back. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Chick-fil-A, Aflac, Ram Trucks, and by Verizon. It's our sideline producer, Laura Dunham, out there riding Rich yesterday. The equestrian teams of these 2 schools are pretty good. Auburn's 6-time national champion, 2-time SEC champion, and #1 Auburn defeated #2 Georgia in their meet yesterday.
There they
nice
are.
riding there, Laura.
Yes, there they are.
The things you find out, you know. We never knew that about her.
That's back-to-back. Halloween costume a couple weeks ago, and now on Auburn.
She's getting more airtime than we are.
That's right.
First down, Georgia, their worst starting field position at the 2-yard line. Got to be careful down there. And Fromm is under center with Harrion behind him. A little bit hard to hear as well. Harrion in the middle of the pile might have gotten 2. Amazon Music brings you today's Scholar Athletes. DeAndre Swift, who went over the 1,000 yards today on the season. And Tanner Dean for Auburn. Amazon Music showing their commitment to the investment of our future by donating $1,000 to Georgia and Auburn's General Scholarship Fund. Harrion stays in there. DeAndre stays on the sideline. 3 wideouts, including George Pickens. It's Harrion again, though, and they are playing it conservatively. No gain, might have gotten a half-yard out of it. And again, Marlon Davidson in that big front. Derek Brown saying, not this time at least.
I don't know how you can play so hard against all those big guys and have a smile on your face the whole game.
He played off 2 blockers, maybe 3, and made the tackle.
And come up smiling. I just always think back to Alabama and A.J. McCarron from this end zone throwing 2013, I think, throwing a 99-yard touchdown pass in this game.
Jake Fromm in the gun, standing at his own goal line. 3rd down and 7. Fromm rolling right. Has to throw it before he wants to, and it's incomplete. And Jake hit the deck, too, at the end of the play. Chandler Wooten got there. And now Camarda really does have to have a good play.
He does. And this is defended well. Jake tries to come outside. Almost a double slip down that time by Blaylock.
And now Camarda is standing almost at his own end line. Handles the snap well.
Great punt. Outside the numbers again.
Tuck's got a chance to return this, though, from the 36. And Georgia's coverage is pretty good.
Sure was.
Channing Tyndall made the stop. So Auburn's got good field position to work again. Can their offense get something going? Well, we'll stay right here for a second. We had a flag down. right about where he caught the football. Our side judge's hat is somewhere else, so he planted that for a reason as well.
Yes, one of the Georgia players went out of bounds on the play, trying to cover
After
the punt.
the play was over, personal foul and necessary roughness. Number 87 of the kicking team. This is a 15-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Tyler Simmons. So the field position went from good to great for Auburn. Midway point, third quarter. Auburn will have a great spot to start from when we come back. Tyler Simmons, is sometimes starting wide receiver on the special teams, is the guy that was penalized.
Here's where the frustration happens. Jordan Peters blocks him out of bounds. That's why the official takes his hat off. So Tyler gets frustrated and ends up turning around at the end of the play right here and taking off his frustration right at the end with one final punch.
Simmons came in.
So Tyler Simmons, one of 5 penalties against Georgia today, all on special teams. Can you believe that?
Well, no, to tell you the truth. Until you said it. Well, you know what? They started the ball they punted from the 39, and they got it back at the 43. That's a pretty good exchange.
Sure is. Schwartz in motion. They fake it to him. Nick's finally going to throw deep, and Williams is out of bounds.
Yeah, you got to keep it on the field. And that's your ball to Seth Williams, where most of the time it's a 50-50 ball. Seth Williams is the guy that caught the pass against Oregon.
Yep.
But you got to give him a chance to catch it inbounds.
It was pretty good coverage by Eric Stokes anyway, right there with him. And Bo knows.
Yeah, Bo knows, but in that situation, you keep it on the field, I don't even think it's 50-50. It's, 70-30 advantage offense.
DJ Williams back in the Auburn backfield. He's had some nice runs so far today. 2nd and 10 here from the 43. And now they're going back the other way to Williams, incomplete. And Tyson Campbell covering. Fans booing, wanting an interference on Tyson Campbell.
In phase. I didn't see much, I got to be honest. He didn't grab him. He had his hands on him.
A little hand fighting.
Yes, but did not turn him.
3rd and 10. Is Auburn going to waste the good field position if they don't pick up a first down here? Here comes the pressure. Nick's felt it. And from behind, he goes down. The man that brought the heat stayed with it. Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyreek Stevenson is one of those hybrid nickel players that comes in. Comes from the secondary. He blitz. As Ness said, he saw him first, and he avoids him. He said he feels him, but he doesn't feel him the second time, does he? He's very fortunate he didn't fumble the ball.
That is some stick-to-itiveness right there for number 7. And it'll force a punt.
He's one of those guys where you look at the nickel package, you go, okay, where does 7 play? It's like, there's 11 guys that come in different situations that aren't starters.
Zip-Oz punt. High hanger. Lets it go, fakes the catch, and it goes out of bounds around the 12 or 13-yard line on the far side. He doesn't like that one as good as his previous attempts. Love it when somebody comes up with a big play on defense. The Dogs did there. Beautiful nighttime shot of Jordan-Hare Stadium. Our aerial coverage sponsored by State Farm. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Ordahl, our CBS crew, and about 87,500 of our closest friends here in the Plains. Don't forget, later in the game, play of the game, presented by Jersey Mike Subs.
Just feels so different than last touchdown before the half. This was, exchange of punts, field position, 7-0, you're gripping, okay? 14-0 just feels like Georgia can say, okay, we'll do this.
Yeah.
Until you show us you can move the ball, why should we take chances?
A little better field position than last time for the Bulldogs at their own 12-yard line. Demetrius Robertson in motion. DeAndre Swift with the handle. Dives forward for a couple as we check in with Jamie.
Well, coaching trees always connect players and coaches as they move through the ranks. Well, there's a connection between Bo Nix and Jake Fromm, and it goes all the way up to Bo Nix's grandfather, Conrad. He coached Jake Fromm's high school coach, and they worked together. And I went to speak with this gentleman before the game. I said, what is it that these two have that brings them together? He said they both have that it factor, and I know we see that when we meet with them.
And they've gotten together a few times, just throw the football in the backyard. DeAndre Swift for the first down run.
Yeah. 2 plays for a first down. Trying to keep the good field position in here. You're trying to keep this in position so your offense can get back in the game. Derek Brown taking this, at least the start of this series, off to get him some rest.
They've been out there a lot. Georgia taking its time as we approach 5.5 minutes in the third quarter. As Gary said, no rush, and you don't have to do anything big, especially if you can keep it on the ground and keep moving the chains. That's what they'll try to do here. Top sweep. And DeAndre Swift only got about a yard that time. DeAndre Swift, as we mentioned, over 1,000 yards, back-to-back seasons. That's some pretty good company. The other guys that have done that in the annals of Georgia's rushing history.
Good names.
Yeah, Herschel tops the list. 3 for 3 for Herschel. 3 years, 3 gigantic years. And he's at 98, so almost 100 for Swift. On top of that 1,000 for the season. Harrian's in there in his spot right now. Second down and 9. And there's Brian Harrian trying to get it wide. Davidson trying to track him down and can't. Well, he'll make the tackle, but not before he got to the 40-yard line.
Got to give him
horse collar, I think.
Yes, it is.
And
exactly
Harrian's shaken up.
And that's how I broke my ankle, with a horse collar. Somebody
personal foul.
Pull you back. They
legal horse collar tackle of number 3 of the defense. This is a 15-yard penalty. It forced from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Very dangerous play because they stopped the runner's momentum, but the defender actually gets a boost on the play. I broke my ankle on a play. I wasn't going this fast, but it was just this kind of play. Watch him fall on him from behind. Get your ankle trapped. That's exactly how it happened.
Man, he got both of them trapped. I'm not even sure which one is the problem, but Brian Harrian, who's valuable, very valuable to this Georgia offense, is the man that's down. Brian Harrian zipped inside that Georgia observation injury tent. Marlon Davidson, meanwhile, on the sideline.
Looks like he re-hurt his back. See him getting a little massage there.
So both he and Harrian on that tackle. Injured. Meanwhile, Georgia's at the 45-yard line of Auburn with a first down.
4 straight runs. You got the feeling the play-action pass is coming.
Zamir White, he's in the backfield. Will get the carry for a couple. And again, when you talk about the Georgia backfield, Harrian being a key part of it behind DeAndre Swift, as you take another look at that tackle by Davidson and an ugly landing by Brian Harrian. The good thing for Georgia is they do have depth at tailback, including Zamir White and James Cook. But this guy's really valuable. Of course, he had the touchdown right before halftime on the reception. So Zamir White's going to get a lot more snaps. And the guy they call Zeus is in there right now.
Yeah, and Brown and Davidson not in the game on a key drive. It feels like a field goal is going to be the end of it for Auburn.
There's the end around off the play fake. Kearis Jackson, good speed and a good first down run. They'll move the chains again. Well-designed play and runs beautifully.
And a great block off the edge that time by Andrew Thomas, number 71. He held his block for about 4 seconds on that reverse. And big Derek Brown goes in.
Georgia's loving what's going on here. They can use the clock. It's down under 3.5. They're in field goal range already, and they've got a 2-touchdown lead. They've run it 6 times. They'll run it again. Zamir White. He gets inside the 30, taking Daniel Thomas with it.
Watch Andrew Thomas here, the left tackle, how long he holds his block on this play. Comes out to the second level, engages with the linebackers, Jacoby McClain, number 35, and holds that block the whole way.
Considered one of the best left tackles in college football. Showing you why there.
Yeah, number 3 and number 5 are in, and they got to play. They have to get a stop here. A tackle for a loss would be huge for Auburn right here.
2nd down and 5 for Georgia. James Cook, who I just mentioned earlier, in the lineup at tailback. He'll get the carry, and he's met at the line of scrimmage by Derek Brown and K.J. Britt.
Right in the middle of it. Takes on Solomon Chenley, throws him away, just threw him away.
He just one-armed a 335-pound guard.
I want to circle for our viewers one more time. Just after even this play. Oh my goodness. Keep your eye on this guy right here. Just toss away a 320, throw him away and make the tackle. What a play.
3rd down and 4. Georgia. Fromm finally set to throw one on this series. Completes it to Robertson. 1st down inside the 20.
Interesting. Robertson's coming across to pick on the play. There's no one to pick, so he just continues on. Watch. Pick. Nope. Okay, look for the ball. And he gets right through there. On that play, Christian Tutt actually ran into the umpire on the play.
And he was looking at him like, hey, nice block.
Exactly.
1st down, Georgia. 8 runs and that 1 pass.
And if you're James Coley, offensive coordinator right here, I'm sure Kirby is telling James Coley, we've got 3 in our pocket. Make sure that what you call does not lose 3 points.
1st down at the 15. From throwing back shoulder. Oh my goodness, did he catch that? Kearis Jackson, touchdown Georgia. Wow.
Well, there was 2 defenders back there, Smoke Monday and Roger McCreary. Is he in? Oh, I don't think so.
Where's the ball at that point?
Yeah, but his toe was on the line.
Now here's a good look from pylon cam.
Watch his right toe. His left toe, rather. That's going to be out. Boy, those pylon cams see a lot of stuff.
The ruling on the field for the previous play is a catch for a touchdown. This play is now under video review.
Some kind of grab.
Yep, beautiful play, well defended, better throw, great catch, except for one thing.
Let's bring in Gene Steratore. Gene, what do you think?
I agree with you. I think after Jackson possesses the ball, the first thing to touch is the left foot, and it is landing in the white. If I were ruling on this, I would overturn it to an incomplete pass.
So an all-important review going on. Steve Landis is our replay official.
One more look to see when the ball goes in his hands. Right now, and his foot is in the air, so as Gene told you, the first thing that touches is on the line.
His body position, he was leaning backward, which would indicate he's going goalward, if you will. Whatever the call, it was an unbelievable effort.
Yeah, it was.
And catch.
The other thought is, will the replay officials say his left foot was grazing the grass before it touched? Remember, it was called a catch. He would have to overturn it. So his left toe is kind of skidding across the grass before it firmly comes.
After video review, it's an incomplete pass. The receiver was able to control the ball in the air, but first stepped out of bounds. The ball will be placed back at the previous spot, the 15-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and 10.
It was close, but I think this is the right call. Well, we saw just see his toe just graze and then down.
So you kind of saw Kearis Jackson next to Jake Fromm nodding his head as if to say, well, let's just go get the next one.
It was well executed, I'll say that.
11th play of the drive coming up. Bulldogs 2nd down and 10. Auburn fans trying to give their defense some life to at least force a field goal. So we've only got 16 minutes of regulation left to play. Jake Fromm trying to be heard. DeAndre Swift has to get the last word from his quarterback. Auburn's going to bring the heat. Here they come. Fromm lofts it to the corner, and this one's knocked away. Nice play by Roger McCreary.
Well, you could see what the veteran Jake Fromm was doing there and why he's only been sacked
player on the
5
ground.
times this
Number
year.
1 of the defense. The penalties half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
So a huge penalty on Auburn just when they had Georgia at 3rd and 10. And that'll upset your stomach if you're the head coach.
Okay, big cat right in front of him.
It was the second
and then he throws on him. Yes, then he dives on it. He felt he was being held on the play by Charlie Werner, number 89, and he lost his cool.
First and goal. DeAndre Swift. His spin move didn't work that time.
Smoke Monday. Smoked him. Holy cow. The sophomore playing behind Daniel Thomas and Jeremiah Dinson, the 2 seniors. He'll be playing safety next year. And watch, oh man.
DeAndre Swift just hit 100 yards on the day, and he hit Smoke Monday on a Saturday.
Holy cow.
No Sean Moreno, the last guy to have 2 straight 100 pluses against Auburn. Second and goal. Georgia 2 tight end set. Swift behind Fromm. Play action. Jake lofts it to the corner. Touchdown, Eli Wolf. Much like the Florida completion that ended that game, this one ends in a touchdown.
Nice little design play this time. Eli Wolf is going to engage. Watch him engage and then fall out. Allows the receivers to get past him and then falls out into the play. A little bit like Harrien's touchdown, only from a different position.
Right. So 2 huge catches by that guy this year to end the Florida game and now to give Georgia a 3-touchdown lead. Rodrigo Blankenship for the point after. Up and perfect. And it's going to be a long climb back for the Tigers of Auburn with 13 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Georgia just capped an 88-yard drive in 13 plays with Jake Fromm's 3rd touchdown pass of the day. Almost the end of the 3rd quarter. And Georgia with a commanding lead now of 21-0. Gary, when you've got 170 yards of total offense, which is what Auburn's at right now, this is going to be a struggle.
Yeah, and I really go back that they had a couple of opportunities. You don't have that many. The Bo Nix fumble and that ill-timed timeout by Gus to give 1 more 30 seconds in the half.
See if Jamie knows more on Harrien's injury.
Well, when Georgia gets the ball back, they will have running back Brian Harrien available to them. He was in the tent for a while. He had that left ankle taped back up, but he's making cuts on the sideline like he's ready to go.
Young ligaments. I'd still be in the tent on Wednesday, but Brian Harrien's going to be okay. That's good news. Bo Nix, 3 for his last 8 for 7 yards. He's got to warm up, or Auburn is going to fall to 7-3. Still a lot of football left, though. Whole quarter. Whitlow maybe got 2.
For many years of playing in Detroit, taking a knee at halftime or running a play into the middle at the end of the quarter is bad strategy.
And thus you heard a little bit of booing in the background.
Exactly.
That's the end of 3. Georgia's 15 minutes away from a date in the SEC championship game in almost their home turf of Atlanta. 21-0. We'll return to Auburn right after this message and a word from your local station. 15 minutes remaining in regulation from the Plains at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn. And the Tigers in some trouble right now, trailing by 3 touchdowns. And a 2nd down and 9 from the 26 to open quarter number 3. Empty backfield for Bo Nix. Nix throws out in the flat, complete to Seth Williams. Another catch for him. And trying to fight for a first down. He might get there. And I think he's going to.
Close.
So that's a good way to start the third quarter as we welcome you back to the booth. In the short-term picture here, Auburn's got 15 minutes to try to do something about it. And Georgia's side of things in the big picture,
they're looking pretty
good, right?
In the bigger picture than that, right now it hurts Oregon more than anyone. This blowout right here on the home field by this Georgia team. Remember, Auburn beat Oregon on a neutral field. The biggest picture is this is really good news for the SEC. Keeping two teams alive in the argument.
And remember, Georgia came in and are right now ranked number 4, and they're certainly going to solidify their spot. A lot of people thought maybe that was too high for them coming into the college football rankings this week. But this is going to be a pretty big feather in their helmet if they hold on to this thing in a tough place to play on the road.
Well, speaking of holding on, they held Auburn in the third quarter to 25 yards total offense.
That's not going to cut it. Williams shaken up after fighting for extra yardage on that previous play. 2nd down and 7. Again, only a couple of deep balls attempted today.
And one was out of bounds when he threw it.
This is going to be short too, but it's going to be good enough for a first down to Will Hastings. And Seth Williams, the leading receiver today, with 11 catches for 83 yards, and there's where he was shaken up. And looks like the left shoulder or arm as it kind of dangled as he came to the sideline. Auburn trying to hustle up here, but now they slow things down.
And Georgia playing very soft now. They're willing to concede these 5 8-yard passes in front of them right now, at least till they get to the 50-yard line.
And they're there now, but that's it to Schwartz right at the 50. And Devon Wilson made the stop. And Seth Williams heading into the 10th. Clock winding down at 12:45. Got to be some urgency here for Auburn. Eli Stove, the motion man, as the ball just shaded on the dog side of midfield. Nix, play fake, deep middle, got his man, and it's Shedrick Jackson. So they finally got a big play.
And I think that's exactly the type of play that Gus was trying to map out for Jamie at halftime. Those play action passes where they could get some chunks on the play is what he was looking for.
That was a 25-yard chunk there to the 25. And now Nick's trying to keep it himself, and he found a little avenue. Got about 9.
Yeah, and he's very smart when he runs the ball too. You know, without having a backup quarterback of, you know, any real stature, when he runs, he takes what he can get and then gets down, avoiding the big hits.
And as you said, that time he kept it in his dominant hand and tucked it high and tight. And now the first down run is Ruby Whitlow to the 15 and maybe close to the 14. So Auburn's finally got their offense in gear here. Their last time they scored, though, was last year against Georgia. It's been 86 minutes of football, and they're still not in the end zone.
And as everybody knows who follows Georgia, not one rushing touchdown allowed all year.
And Gus Malzahn said, we don't care about that stat. We're Auburn. We expect to score. They haven't seen anybody as balanced as us this year. They're not enough balance yet, but it's getting a little bit better. Stove on the end around. Georgia reads it well, and he's not going to get anything.
Yeah, that Nakobe Dean is going to be a star. I'll tell you that right now. Inside linebacker, runs like the wind. One of those big recruits, those recruiting classes. He's right here. Watch him read this and how fast he gets there.
He and Nolan Smith, the two true freshmen, two of the most highly touted linebackers in the country last year.
And you can see why.
Yep.
They don't just give you 5 stars for nothing, do they?
2nd and 9 at the 13. Hastings moves over into the slot. Schwartz, the other slot man for Nix, as we're under 11 minutes, and Auburn's got to keep hustling here. As the fade to the corner, and it's almost intercepted. It's intended for J.J. Wilson, and Eric Stokes had a better play on the ball than the receiver did.
Well, I tell you, the receiver stumbled coming out after the ball was in the air. You can see it. J.J. just says never was able to get into the play. J.J. Walker, who actually played linebacker in the Pac-12, then H-back and now wide receiver, and has not been able to make a difference in this game.
Transferred from Arizona State They expected him to maybe provide some big plays today. So far, not. 3rd and 9. 2-down territory. Nix throws a little bit low, and he couldn't keep his receiver running. Will Hastings makes the catch, but had to hit the turf to catch it. It's 4th down.
Well, Will Hastings, before he was injured, was on his way to being a dominant player in this league. You know, he and Jarrett Stidham really were in sync together, and you know, it just seems the way Hastings runs his route, he needs a rhythm type thrower with him.
Georgia is #1 in the SEC and #2 in the nation at scoring defense. They've pitched 3 shutouts this year already. They're trying to stop a 4th and 5 right here. Nix slant incomplete. The flag comes in on Stokes.
Yes, it is. Oh yes. And that time the big body of J.J. Wilson paid.
Pass interference. Number 27 in the defense. Penalty places the ball at the spot of the foul with automatic 1st down.
27 draped all over number 42. Yep. And it's 1st and goal, Auburn.
No chance to influence the referees by coming up and waving your arms. The flag was already in the air.
Remember, Georgia has not allowed a rushing touchdown this year, and it's a wildcat for Booby Whitlow. Fakes the handoff to Schwartz. Wanted to do a jump pass, courtesy of Kerryon Johnson of, what was that, 2 years ago.
Prior to the snap, Georgia calls its first time out of the half.
So they don't even get the attempt, and now that trick play is gone.
I think they only had 10 people out there.
Booby Whitlow was going to try the Kerryon Johnson jump pass.
Yes.
He just jumped and came down with it. That's traveling.
Exactly. All right, good timeout.
Now it's time for our ExxonMobil game recap from Jordan-Hare Stadium here. Number 4, Georgia. Number 12, Auburn. Bo Nix has had some opportunities that went awry. A really big fumble on this one that gave the ball back to Georgia. And on the other side, the quarterback for the Dogs, Jake Fromm, having himself a day. Hasn't had to have a lot of yardage or a lot of attempts, but he's found 3 different guys, including Brian Harrion right before halftime from 5 yards out. That made it 14-0. And then moments ago, Eli Wolf, the tight end, sneaks out, puts it in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown number 3 for Fromm. And that's where we are at 21-0 with the Georgia Bulldogs now 10 minutes away from winning the SEC East and a trip to Atlanta to face, we'll see, LSU's in the driver's seat to be the other team to meet them. This would be a huge win for Georgia and to keep their ranking at number 4, if not better, in the college football playoff rankings. The last rushing touchdown was in the Sugar Bowl in a game that a lot of people think Georgia wasn't all that interested in against Texas. They were beaten last year in their bowl game, part of their 11-3 season. But right now they're trying to go to 9-1, and they're trying to keep Auburn out of the end zone. Nix, the throw out in the flat. It's still not a rushing touchdown, but it's an Auburn touchdown to Eli Stove. Tigers finally on the board.
Well, Eli Stove is lined up in the backfield on this. Comes into motion right there, goes across, and the Georgia defense cannot get there in time. A little bit of a pick. You see the pick on the other side of the play. I think it was Cedric Jackson, number 11, that got the pick on the play, but the ball was already in the air, and he was at the line of scrimmage. That would not be called on that play.
Anders Carlson in for the point after. Up and good. So finally in the 4th quarter, 5 minutes into the 4th quarter, Bo Nix gets his team a 12-play, 75-yard drive. Took him 5 minutes, 9 seconds to get it, and they've only got 10 minutes to get 2 more. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Gillette, New York Life, Amazon, and by Outback Steakhouse. Back at Auburn, where they finally got a touchdown, 21-7 now, with just over 10 minutes remaining in regulation. .04 left.
So Gus has to look over at his defense and look at Kevin Steele and go, can you give me a 3 and out? Because that might be our only chance here.
If Georgia can string together any kind of time-consuming drive, it could be too late.
Yeah, they're not going to be in any hurry, are they? To do anything.
Anders Carlson's got it teed up. Brian Herrien and Zamir White are back deep, so Brian Herrien okay, as Jamie told us. He's on the left there, number 35. And it's an onside kick. It goes far enough. Who's got it?
What's better than a 3 and out?
That's better. James Moss.
Jay Crowder had a shot at it. Number 30, I thought. It's a perfectly placed. Oh, and look at that.
He's on top of it.
No, exactly. It was almost on top of the ball, and he missed it on the play.
There you see it slide under his right arm.
Yes.
And Auburn's got it back. Wow. Huge play.
Here we go.
Georgia was playing it as a regular kick. They had their guys back deep. And, you know, it took Anders Carlson so long to tee that ball up. I had in my mind, boy, he's really working it here to put that baby down the way he wanted it. And he did it perfectly.
And just kind of like overshot it on the recovery by Georgia on the play. Now they're going to review to see if it was touched. Is that what they're going to do?
See if it was touched by somebody before 10 yards.
Yeah, before it went 10 yards.
Okay, so everybody's still out of the way there. I think he whiffed on it. I think he would have touched it.
Well, there's a touch.
There's a couple fingers, but.
All right, so let's go back to see. I think that's past the 10-yard line.
That's already passed. And then the possession comes under there someplace. Again, if it's touched by a couple of fingers, it would be right there, and it's already gone 12 yards.
Yep.
I think that was Eli Stove that got a hand on it. The wide receiver kind of pinned it, and then the mayhem ensued.
I don't know if it's reviewable whether Auburn was offside before the kick as well. I don't know if that's reviewable. Let's go back to see.
After video review, prior to the ball going 10 yards, number 5 of the kicking team illegally blocks his opponent. This is an illegal block, 5 yards to the kicking team. 5-yard penalty to be enforced from the 35-yard line, and we'll re-kick from the 30.
Okay, that we weren't looking for.
Anthony Schwartz is the fastest man in the field, and on this play, he was too fast.
Yeah.
Boy, I did not have any idea, but watch Schwartz engage. The ball is not gone 10 yards, and that.
Gene Steratore is with us. Gene.
Didn't even know it was reviewable.
That is exactly right, and it is reviewable. A great job by replay. The ball is only 9 yards when that block occurs, and by rule, that is a foul. It's a really good job by the replay officials to get this one right, guys.
And the reason Anthony Schwartz is there is because he's fast. But watch him. I thought maybe he was offsides. No, but he's so fast, actually 3 yards in front of anybody, and he engages there. Ball's not 10 yards, and boy, we thought we were looking at everything. We were looking at fingernails and fingers and who recovered it.
And there's a wide receiver who's too quick for his own business right there. And so they have to re-kick it. They'll back it up to the 30.
And interesting, Georgia does not go onside kick return again, though.
Now they're expecting Auburn again to kick away. Let's see if they do. The last one, as far as the kicker, it was perfect for Carlson. This time he's going to rip it. And caught in the end zone, and Brian Harriet hesitates and then decides to bring it out, and probably shouldn't have, as he got out around the 19-yard line. Let's take a look at the GMC game changer today. Here's a dude that can change a game for you.
You got it. We started in the open with Derek Brown as being a difference maker, and we've seen all day why. He not only has quickness, he has brute strength throwing around offensive linemen, and just about everything he does, his effort, the whole game is the same. I mean, he plays like that in game 1 of the year to this game. He has played with that type of intensity.
He's got a little boy, young son. He says, when I come out to play football, I think of this as my job every day. I'm just interning until I actually get the job. Well, he's going to have a job in the NFL next year, and he'll be well paid for it. DeAndre Swift, 2.5 maybe. There's Derek and his little boy Kai. Jamie's got more.
Well, the Auburn coaching staff made 3 visits to Derek Brown's home over the summer just to check with him on where he was at. It was after last season on returning to Auburn, and it was his father, Jim, who made the biggest impact. Coaches told me that when he speaks, you listen, and he told Derek, you finish what you started, and that's why he came back to Auburn.
He is some kind of finisher, I'll tell you. Second down and 8. Demetrius Robertson going to try that end around again. He's looking for a block, didn't get it. Nice play defensively by Javaris Davis again.
Yeah, I thought Nick Coe did a good job too on the edge, forcing him just a little wider, and then Thomas comes up and cleans it up. One of the things that this defense, especially Kevin Steele defense, has said, those edge guys have to be able to make that running back go a little wider or just stutter a bit so that our safeties can make the play.
Third down and 9, I should say. This would be a big stop for the Tigers. Georgia, 3 wide receivers, and the tight end Werner down at the bottom of your screen. Jake Fromm. Here comes the heat. Jake's going to go deep and out of bounds. And George Pickens was going to be the intended receiver.
Jake could feel that pass rush. He knew he could not be sacked in this play. He had to get rid of it. He threw it out of bounds. Not a great pass. But I'll tell you, on that play, they went again, and number 23 just didn't keep it on the field with Pickens, giving any chance for the catch.
Georgia's 7th 3 and out today. Wow. You name that, you go, they're ahead by 2 touchdowns. How's that work?
Well, this is going to get interesting now, because from now on, it's 4-down territory for Auburn.
And a whistle. And a false start on Georgia.
False start, 41 offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And another special teams penalty against Georgia.
Yeah, and for the first time, maybe since early in the game, it feels like the crowd's back in the game.
Yep. But time is of the essence if you're an Auburn Tiger fan. It's 8:25, all that's left. Camarda, who's hit a couple of beauties today. This one's going to flutter down to the 30-yard line to Tut. And Tut gets about 12 on the return. So good field position again for Auburn. With 8 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in regulation. And they trail 21-7, but there is still hope out there. They got the stop they needed. Kirby Smart, Gus Malzahn, their teams in the 124th meeting, battling it out.
Adam Zucker with this update. Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is not expected to play again this season. According to multiple reports, ESPN and The Athletic report that Tagovailoa dislocated his right hip when he was tackled on a 3rd down play with about 3 minutes left in the first half of today's game at Mississippi State. Alabama has not made an official announcement on the injury, which Coach Nick Saban said after the game was a, quote, freak thing that you seldom see. Indeed. Guys, back to you.
Boy. That's a tough one for all of college football. Tua, one of our favorite guys to visit with having a great game and another great season, and it is over.
Yeah, he's basically been the story of college football for 2 years.
Yep. Bo Nix, his team trailing by 2 touchdowns. Down the middle is Seth Williams' favorite target, and it's down to the 35.
Well, I'll tell you, since Georgia has started playing zone defense and allowed a little space, it has not worked. They got to go back to man-to-man coverage.
Pick up a 24. And looking for more. The sidearmer out to Williams again. He broke a tackle. Seth Williams down to the 20. And another Auburn first down.
Well, and Eric Stokes, if he doesn't grab the toe of Seth Williams, it's a touchdown. Comes out, blocked, but watch this. The last second he blows it. Maybe better man tackled, but it was in space.
Now it's out to Schwartz in the flat. And Schwartz is to the 10. Auburn's got it working here with 7.5 to go. Second down and a yard. At the 10-yard line. Stack receivers both ways, but the give is to Whitlow. Waits for his blocking. Got it down, first and goal.
The first down play was huge. This time, Prince Tagovailoa comes around the corner and just levels it. The left tackle comes around for the counter OT and opens it up.
Tigers at the Georgia 2. Nix keeps it, dives, touchdown Auburn.
Here we go. These games never end easy, do they?
Five minutes ago, it looked like this thing was over. It's far from.
It's a zone keep. He keeps it. He dives across. Was his knee down before he got across? Did not get a clean look on that one. They're going to take their time, the officials, before they spot the ball. They want
Forward, put the ball through the plane of the goal line prior to any body part other than his hand or foot touching the ground. This play is now under video review.
I think the ball is already over the goal line when his left knee hits. Right about there.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think
there
right there he's it. Yep, that's a touchdown.
That'll be a touchdown. And they have scored 2 of them in the last 3 minutes. For Bo Nix, it'll be his 6th rushing touchdown of the year. None bigger maybe than that one.
Yeah, and Bo Nix now is 27 for 41. You know what's also interesting? Only 1 sack all game. They've been sacked 23 times, and that sack was on like a safety blitz. Remember, coming from the edge?
After video review, the ruling on the field of a touchdown is confirmed.
Well, we've seen a lot of interesting things in this stadium over the years.
That's for sure. Interesting is not even half of it.
Yes. So even until there's 1 second to go in the game ain't over here.
That's right. Carlson in for an all-important point after. Up and good. Auburn takes 68 seconds to go 57 yards in 5 plays. Georgia gives up its first rushing touchdown of the season. And it was big plays to Seth Williams.
Yes, it was. Started out with the zone defense. Bo Nix hits the seam. Then an outside little quick screen that almost broke loose. Seth Williams again, and then Booby with the counter OT down to the goal line. And then he just run the zone keep, and Bo Nix shows why so many people recruited him. He can move. First rushing touchdown allowed by Georgia, and it's a quarterback. 21-14. When things looked bleak, nobody left. And now Jordan Hare is rocking. 7 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in regulation. It's 21-14. You know, we talked about how much Georgia defense substitutes, but the fact that you mentioned before that Auburn has 7 3-and-outs against Georgia means that their defense has only faced 56 plays. So they're fresh here for the end. Carlson will kick deep, and Herring will let it go. Georgia will come out to the 25-yard line on offense. Next Saturday,
SEC on CBS will be in Athens for Texas A&M travels between the hedges to take on these Georgia Bulldogs. Will the Dogs be SEC East champions by then? We still got to figure that out. All starts with college football today at 3 Eastern next Saturday right here on CBS. And sometimes you celebrate too much and boop, you go right into the heaters. I think that was our scholar athlete that hit the dust there. So he's not always smart.
Not as smart. He's book smart. He's book smart.
Here we go.
Well, nobody has faced more pressurized situations in college football than number 11 for Georgia.
Comes up to let his lineman know where everybody is. Fine. Down the middle, and Eli Wolf, the intended receiver, it went out of his hands. Pretty good coverage by Jeremiah Benson.
Good protection. You know it's going to be man-to-man coverage. Good spot. Perfect throw. Drop ball.
Should have had it.
Absolutely. Tried to catch it with his chest instead of his hands that time.
Or in Wolf's case, pause. 2nd and 10, and with every snap, this place is going to get louder.
Absolutely.
Unless Jake Fromm can quiet him. Corner blitz. Fromm's going to keep it. No gain.
That was a great call by Kevin Steele. The corner blitz forced the give on the play. It was a zone read, but there's nothing he could do. Coming right at him off the slot. An aggressive defensive call coming right at his face when he's trying to run, and he had to keep it. He could not hand the ball off.
If Georgia doesn't get this first down, Auburn is going to force a punt. They're going to get the ball back, and they're only going to lose about a minute of time off the clock. 3rd and 10. They're coming again. From late throw, incomplete, broken up by McCreary.
Well, McCreary was the story of the end of the first half, but in the second half, he has made some plays. Again, coming off the edge, Big Cat Bryant was coming in there. The ball was behind, and the official was not going to help out. Big Cat Bryant forces the kind of the spot throw, could not step into it, and McCreary was able to catch up to the throw.
McCreary looked like he might have been shaken up on the play as well, but Camarda now with a punt, and this one is not a very good one, although it's going to take a Georgia roll down around the 27 or 28-yard line. So there's only a minute and 4 seconds that came off the clock in the exchange back to the Auburn offense. Sometimes all you need is a good courtroom drama. The new All Rise Monday at 9, 8 Central on CBS.
Well, we gave the bad news at the end of the third quarter when Auburn only had 25 yards in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, they've got 124 yards already and counting.
2 touchdowns in a 3-minute span. They've got it back. Full complement of timeouts. 6 minutes remaining. That guy thought it was over a long time ago. Holdup is exactly.
Your game management's got to take care of
And John McDade had a little chat on the Auburn sideline. Here we go.
Auburn's got their heavy, both tackles to the one side of the field.
From the 28, Bo Nix fires complete. Schwartz. They wrap him up, but he gets 9 yards. DJ Daniel made the tackle.
Nice comeback route. No back shoulder there. Run him off and come back and catch it.
2nd and short. They'll keep it on the ground to Whitlow, and he's got a big run out to the 45. Another Auburn first down.
I'll tell you, DJ Daniel was lucky he got a hand on his foot there, or Whitlow would be out for another 10 yards. The Georgia defense really reeling right now. They started out playing soft zone. It seems like they cannot get back in sync. And Bo Nix is feeling it.
He sure is. By himself in the backfield until Schwartz comes across. And across again. They fake it to him. Nix loads it and goes back to Schwartz on the sideline. And Schwartz gets up positive yardage again. Probably about 7 or 8 more.
Great awareness from Nix on that one. He's going to go downfield for the big play, but he knew he had Schwartz, who came in with the fake motion as a safety valve, and he went to him at the last second.
Gus Malzahn told us of Bo Nix, he doesn't think anymore, he reacts, and he's reacting perfectly right now. Pickup of 8. Look at what he's done this half. In Georgia territory. Drop ball on the snap. Still loose. And I think Whitlow got on top of it, although Georgia's saying they've got it. I don't know if Bo took his eye off that. It was a bad snap. And it's Auburn ball.
And it goes from 2nd and 2 now to 3rd and medium.
It was low.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a knuckleball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Whitlow kicked it forward about 3 times before he jumped on it. Got all 3 timeouts. What does he do if he doesn't pick this up? Do they give the ball back to Georgia?
3rd down and 5. Biggest play of the day so far. Again, the snap was a little off. Nix backpedals, throws, incomplete. Closest man was Hastings, but Richard LeCount was actually closer to the football.
And what do you do now? Good blocking that time, picking up the blitz by Booby Whitlow. Picks up the blitz. Whitlow does a nice job of giving Bo time, but nowhere really to throw. I told you the zone is done. Georgia's not going to play any more zone. 3 timeouts left, and he's going for it on 4th down here. I'm surprised.
They're 3 out of 7 to this point of the season.
And he has.
Here we go. 4th and 5. Georgia just brings 4. Nix wanted to get rid of it in a hurry. Now he's going to run, and he's going to get it. First down.
This has shades of that Oregon game, the first game of the year, when Nix made those scrambles on that last drive. He was 4 for 6 and a couple big runs. He had that huge 4th down run against Oregon to get the first down before the throw to Seth Williams.
On 4th and 5, he got 8 on the scramble. First down at the Georgia 42. Georgia going to bring a blitz now. Throws complete to Hastings inside the 40. And we're inside 4 minutes in regulation. This game was 21-0 if you're just joining us.
And Georgia has brought pressure 3, 4, 5 times and not been able to get a free man through. That's good protection up front.
Auburn showed hurry up and then takes its time with a 2nd and 7. Nix deep on the sideline, back shoulder to Williams. Did he catch it? He did.
Well, DJ Daniel was on the coverage right there. Back shoulder. Can't tell if his toes were down there. Oh, yeah. It's going backwards. Was his heel on the line, but his left toe was on the ground.
The ruling on the previous play is a catch at the sideline for a first down. This play is now under video review.
I don't know if he was juggling it as well. There's like 2 or 3 things to look at here. Remember, going backwards, you have to get the full foot in. His right heel hits the line. And the ball, is it moving?
A little bit.
He still controls it. I'm wondering if the right heel is not going to be the call, though. This is so close.
It would be his 15th catch of the day if it's good. The heel was still a little bit airborne, but it's hard to tell at what point.
But his left foot down.
The toe of his, it looks like his toe and heel were touching about the same time.
Yes. Remember, it's called a catch on the field. That could be the overriding thing here.
Gene Steratore is with us. Gene.
This is really close, and you've hit on two of the elements that I'm really focusing on too, and that is if Williams possesses this football and his left foot is down before that right heel touches out of bounds, then he's basically got one foot in bounds before that second foot comes out. It's the determination on possession there. And if the left foot is down prior to the right heel touching the white. And this is really, really tight.
Yeah, we're scraping the turf on this.
Is it enough to change?
After video review, it's an incomplete pass. The receiver was not yet controlling the ball when his foot first went out of bounds. Ball placed at the 39-yard line will be third down. For the game clock operator, please put 3-10 on the game clock.
To me, that's why you can't use it as a still frame. It's control. As Gene said, when you control the ball, the ruling was by the replay official that his right heel came down. It's not the toe. When you're going backwards, it's your heel.
I totally agree, Gary. And what John McDade said, too, as well, is the ball was moving, so they did not deem that he had stuck that possession, and I agree with that as well. So when possession occurred, the heel then is out in the white, and I believe that is the reason why he overturned that to incomplete.
Wow, how close. And now we got 3rd and 7.
With 3:10 remaining in regulation. Nonetheless, Seth Williams has 13 catches for 121 yards so far. That would have been a 17-yard completion. Kirby running up and down that sideline to get his defense where he wants them. Where he wants it at the 39. 3rd and 7. Schwartz in motion. They've thrown to him out in the flat a couple times on this drive. Nix, quarterback draw. Going to be short. 4th down and 2.
Boy, and that play too, wide open. Anthony Schwartz coming underneath. Watch him come underneath, right in the middle of the field. Had it, but as Brad said, the quarterback was running with it.
Remember, they picked up a 4th and 5 earlier on this drive. Here's another one. 4th down and 2.
Quick huddle.
That huddle's only about 2 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Up they come. Nix is going to be under center. That's a rarity. He fakes it. Bootleg. Throws in the flat. In and out of the hands of Harold Joyner. Incomplete.
Bad throw. He made all those great plays, and then he's got a layup and doesn't make the layup.
So they got one 4th down. They didn't get that one. And depending on what Georgia can do on offense, that might seal it. But we still got 2:24 to watch.
Joyner comes sliding out right into the flat, right out there with the fake. He's got a layup to him. Behind him, and it's for a running back. A tough catch for a running back. Gets on him fast. It's behind him and can't make the play.
Right over his shoulder.
Yep. Remember, 3 timeouts left. Kirby didn't defend it, but they didn't throw it, and you can see the frustration.
On the defense, now they're back out there to try to see if they can stop Georgia. Brian Harrion, who was shaken up earlier, is in the backfield behind Fromm. Everybody bunched in tight as far as receivers, and it's Harrion on the carry, and he didn't get anything. Might have gotten a yard.
Yeah. When Auburn knows you're going to run, it doesn't matter how big your offensive line is. Sometimes those guys up front and the safeties and the corners, just no space.
Auburn takes a timeout at 2:19. Remember, Georgia can win the SEC East if they can win this last 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Florida did what they had to do today with a win in our first of our doubleheader on CBS with a win over Missouri. So they're 6-2, and they are watching. You can bet. But Georgia, having won the head-to-head with Florida, if they can win today, they'll be going to Atlanta for the SEC title game. Coming up after our game, Adam, Kevin, and BJ will have scores and highlights on the college football postgame show presented by Rocket Mortgage.
I wonder if Georgia can dial a run for Jake Fromm. Not just one of those zone reads in the middle of the line, but something off the edge.
There's that big defensive front that's been so stout against everybody, including Georgia today. 2nd down and 9. And DeAndre Swift in the backfield. That's Robertson in motion. And it's DeAndre Swift. Falls forward for about 4. And Auburn takes its 2nd timeout. With 2:16 remaining, the drama builds at Jordan-Hare. Seems like every time it's a 3rd down, and Georgia has had several 3rd down situations where Auburn has held. Can they hold again?
Well, and remember the other X factor in this situation against Florida, Fromm threw the ball to ice the game.
That's right.
Will they do it again?
And that was to Eli Wolf in Jacksonville. 3rd and 5. Throws in the flat to DeAndre Swift. Can he make anybody miss? No. Not that time. Javaris Davis. How many open field tackles has that guy made today?
Yeah, but that was, he had triangulation working here. He had help inside, and he knew that all he had to do was stay outside, and Tut was inside to help.
So Georgia's got to give it up again with 2:10 remaining, and Auburn is out of timeouts. And I'm betting right now that if there's a TV near, that Chamberlain Smith, the young female photographer from the Athletic Association of Georgia, is going, hey dogs, hold on. Injured right before halftime. She's from Ringgold, Georgia. And Chamberlain, again, we hope you're okay, and for your family and friends that are watching. Jamie?
It sounds like Chamberlain is at the hospital. She's awake. She's receiving tests. Her sister posted to social media that she appreciates all the prayers, and she is undergoing further evaluation.
Well, she did her job, right? We always hear the coach, do your job.
That's right. Everybody's trying to do that right now, including Camarda.
And how about this Auburn defense? That's their 9th 3-and-out in the football game to give them a chance.
Camarda, high-hanging kick is going to sail out of bounds. Let's see where they spot this thing.
It's coming up.
It's coming up past the 25 somewhere. And they're still walking it off. 31-yard line, it looks like.
No. He's going to move it back. The referee put his hand down, and the field judge didn't see him. He kept moving. They're going to move it back. And they are. Good job by the referee.
So they go back to about the 26 or 7.
Yes. He put his hand down, and the field judge couldn't see him, so he kept walking towards the 30.
I think John McDade's had it with somebody on that Auburn sideline. It's not Gus. I think it's one of the assistants. But anyway, here we go. Auburn's got it again. 2:03 to go. Nix. Last pass was a bad one. This one's not very good either. Over Hastings' hands. Maybe a taller receiver would have had it. I don't know. Yeah, that was a tough one for anybody.
I actually thought Wyatt got into his vision that time. Devontae Wyatt, number 95. He had to get it over the outstretched arms.
Remember, Auburn's out of timeouts. First downs will stop the clock momentarily, and getting out of bounds will do likewise. We're under 2 minutes. Nix, it was a low snap from center. Again, he's in trouble. Got away from one man. 3 Georgia Bulldogs giving chase. He throws a completion. Nope, it's out of bounds. Ruby Whitlow caught it, but he was out of bounds.
That was a big escape by Nix that time. Spins away from Olajari on the play. And watch the escape.
Almost got face masked. Turned around and hit Whitlow, but Whitlow's foot was out of bounds when he made the catch.
Again, 1 sack in the game, and that was from a blitz look. The front four for Georgia has not been able to come up with a sack in the game.
They try to create havoc plays is what Kirby Smart calls them, and they haven't had many. 3rd and 10. Nix over the middle, completes it.
Nope.
Dropped it. Seth Williams had it in his hands, and it's 4th down.
Boy, that secondary going to this ball when it was completed, they went right for the ball, and that's not going to count as a havoc play, but it should, because LeCount and Stevenson just freed up that ball.
Actually, broken up passes do count.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, wow, that was beautiful.
Tyreek Stevenson, Richard LeCount.
Here we go.
4th down. If Georgia stops this, it's ball game. Set to fire again, or will he? He's not going to get it off. He's sacked that time by Trayvon Walker. They finally get home, and their coach hits the turf in celebration on the sideline.
We kept waiting for that front four to make a play. This time they land up 3, but they stunted. Brought one linebacker on the play, and Walker finally gets there. 3 down linemen, but watch the stunt. At the end, from the outside, Adam Anderson comes in to make it 4, and then the sack from the backside.
Who figures that a freshman who's never even been to Jordan-Hare Stadium would end the game for Georgia?
And, oh, by the way, one of those big recruits, another 5-star true freshman to end it.
Jake Fromm will take a knee. Jake Fromm's about to be 3-1 in his career against the Auburn Tigers. And as the clock ticks down,
it'll be their 3rd consecutive trip to Atlanta.
How about that?
Yep. And they'll stay at number 4, too.
Bo Nix did everything he could. 30 out of 50 for 245 yards.
I know the one he'd like to have back. I know exactly what he's thinking.
Yep. He said to us, when you watch film, sometimes you watch too much and you can get too down on yourself.
There's always a play. I could have done this, I could have done that. Bo, don't worry about it. There'll be many more, but we all battle that one extra play we could have done. He was magnificent this second half, wasn't he?
He was. And there's the coach, and there's how happy he was. Kirby Smart.
Boy, it looked like it was going to be easy. End of the 3rd quarter, looks like it's going to be a cakewalk, and all of a sudden you're hanging on for dear life.
I got a feeling Chamberlain Smith's going to get a game ball from Georgia. She did her job. As Gary said, Georgia did its job. Big win as the Dogs hold on to win 21-14, and they are the SEC East champions again. And a 3rd straight trip to Atlanta to play for all the SEC marbles. So they got one more SEC obstacle in their way. That's next week, and there, Jake Fromm. That was probably his little brother.
It was. Yep.
His brother plays here at Auburn. And a tough finish for Bo Nix, but what a gutty performance. There's how it looks. That'll do it from the East. And Georgia, the SEC East champion with the winning coach, is Jamie.
Coach, you took a tumble there when you celebrated. You feeling all right?
Feel great. Couldn't feel better.
What statement did your defense just make to end that game?
Well, we made a statement that we didn't stop them the last 2 or 3 drives. I mean, you got to finish teams off. Played really well early and lost our composure and didn't finish the way we needed to.
Who stepped up for you today?
Well, Trayvon Walker made some big plays at the end. A lot of these young kids are starting to grow up. We got to continue to grow. We got to continue to get better. We got to make plays when we get a chance on offense.
They call this the oldest rivalry for a reason. What does it feel like to get this win at Auburn when it challenged you just a couple years ago here?
Look, guys, that team is a really good football team. And you're playing them at their place, one of the toughest places to play in the country. Got a lot of respect for their football team and a lot of respect for ours.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Jake's right here. Give him a minute. How'd that one feel to play in?
Ooh, that's awesome. Praise God for the win. Man, our defense played great tonight, and their defense played really well too. So very, very defensive oriented game, and man, to come out score more points, it's a blessing, and thank God we clinched the East.
They have some mammoth guys on that defensive line. What was it like to stare them down and try to get through them?
You know, they're really big guys, and guys who they have a really high motor. I mean, they never kind of chill out for a couple plays. I mean, they're always coming, and they're relentless. That's what makes them so special. So to come into their place and take out a win is very special.
You've had to put up a couple fights this season, but you're headed to Atlanta now as the SEC East champs. How does that sound?
That's awesome. Praise God for that. To be able to do that 3 years in a row just shows just the hard work from this football team, football program, us in that locker room. We're ready to go to work and get better and finish this thing off.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Knowing Jake, he'll probably celebrate by going fishing tomorrow.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, those two guys are friends, and one just had enough plays in him today to beat the other.
And Bo Nix has grown the same way Jake Fromm grew. Don't you think from the first game to now, the same type of growth, and there's the Fromm boys.
Time now for the plays of the game, presented by Jersey Mike Subs. There were some dandies in it. One being this. The throw that missed to Joyner. That could have maybe been a touchdown if it was out in front. And then Georgia comes up with a true freshman making the play of the game on his first visit to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Finally, Georgia gets a sack at the end to celebrate with his coach, knock him on his rear end. And then the rest of the celebration continues for Georgia as they go to 9-1 and 6-1 in SEC play. And that's the most important part of the SEC East champions. Quite a thriller. Started with War Eagle. It's going to end with Go Dogs. 21-14 is the final from Jordan-Hare in Auburn, Alabama. For Gary Danielson and Jamie Erdahl, Brad Nessler saying so long from Auburn. 21-14. The Deep South's oldest rivalry gave us another dandy. The college football postgame show presented by Rocket Mortgage is up next after these messages. So long from the Plains.